Hello, everyone. This is the Red Riot Robot YouTube channel. I am Blue. I am here today to talk about the Not E3 showcases of June. I'm here with
Holden, nice to be here.
and also with.
Ross, also good to be here.
Thank you so much. This is a little late, but that's all right because a lot of stuff came out about the games we want to talk about today, and we'll be able to talk in a little bit more detail about those down the line. We're mostly just talking about the main showcases: PlayStation, Summer Games Fest, and Xbox. First up, PlayStation State of Play. I remember when they announced this the day before it came out, and I immediately thought that this is not going to be really good because that's usually a bad sign every time. The upside is this is State of Play, and PlayStation likes to separate State of Plays from showcases as State of Plays being smaller things, and that's what it was. And we'll just get right into it. State of Play started off with the Lumens Arise, which is their, I guess, sequel or next game of the people who made that Tetris Effect game for VR. Everyone who likes that will probably enjoy this. I really like Tetris, so I'm not even going to bother. On to the main thing, one of the main things I want to talk about, Pragmata. This, when I saw it, my first thought is, it lives. It lives. Because this was announced in 2020. And then it kind of went away after 2 years and was.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, there was a trailer where a little girl held up a sign that was like delayed indefinitely as she's looking like she's crying. It was the funniest delay I've ever seen in my life.
The modern game cycle experience.
Yes, it is. And a lot of people thought this was canceled because it had just been so long since nothing came out, and they finally announced it. They didn't show any gameplay in the showcase in the State of Play itself, but later on Capcom did their own showcase where they showed the gameplay, and it's like Alan Wake, but instead of just shining a light on the creatures, you do a puzzle to make them weak. It's a weird little line puzzle thing you have to do.
Like a Bioshock hacking pipe puzzle type thing?
Similar to that, but a lot quicker. It's not like something that'll take 2 minutes. It's like really quick.
Okay. You want me to...
Yeah, you can pull up the... I don't think it shows the little puzzle in this. It might show it for a quick second. But I remember when I first saw this, I thought it was an AI, generative AI thing for PlayStation of like making multiplayer better, similar to something Xbox just announced. And then it is like kind of the fake out towards the middle.
That's a good fake out.
The other thing is like, I really like the aesthetic of Pragmata. It's this like, I guess I'll call it NASA punk, where the suits and stuff are kind of bulky. It's not like sleek metal and all that stuff. It's kind of baggy, and I've always enjoyed that. It's one of the reasons why I liked Dead Space.
You know, this is what I was actually expecting when we got that fake out with the Call of Duty trailer in the Xbox showcase.
I still can't get over the fake out of Call of Duty being some kind of like sci-fi future that I was actually excited for, and then it was just Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, no, that was the most biggest letdown. We'll talk about that later in more detail, but yeah, no, that was the biggest letdown, in my opinion, of the entire show, the entire season.
Yeah, I do like the aesthetic a lot.
And it's probably going to be another, little father, I guess, daughter kind of thing, walking, like God of War, a lot of the Sony stuff.
The aesthetic makes me kind of think of like if Starfield had soul
Yeah.
in it, like if every person in it wasn't made of Play-Doh.
That's the little sign.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's actually happening.
Also, I want to ask a question. Do you guys know what the RE engine stands for?
I do not know.
What do you think it stands for? It's made by Capcom, so.
Oh, Resident Evil?
Is it Resident Evil?
No.
Okay.
It's I'll tell you now, you're not going to get it. It's Reach for the Moon.
Where's the E?
Well, RE, Reach?
Oh, yeah.
That's
I say, oh yeah, like I get it. I fucking don't.
No, it's terrible. Okay, you can pull up the next video because I want to say some stuff about this. Mostly I just want to talk about Suda 51 because our next game is Romeo is a Dead Man. And this is made by an auteur in the industry, Suda 51, who is what I would call, well, Hideo Kojima is like the David Fincher of games, in my opinion, something like that. This is more like the Rob Zombie of video games.
Oh.
It's kind of pulpy, more gory, stuff like that.
Very grimy with a hint of comedy in it.
Yes.
In a very dark way.
If you like that type of stuff, you'll really like Suda 51. All of his games are very stylish, and they usually have really good soundtracks. And even if you don't like the game, you'll remember it.
Yeah.
It is very visually striking.
Yes. And like when I say Rob Zombie, I mean like No More Heroes is basically a guy killing 10 assassins for some pussy.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious about this because it's giving me weird Dead Rising vibes.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, especially when he's like swinging the bigger sword like that.
Yeah.
It's like a combination of like Dead Rising and like Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah.
Because it's got that kind of weird over the top factor of like, oh, we know this is ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to take it seriously. That Metal Gear, right, like Revengeance especially.
Yes.
Just the number of aesthetics that they're fitting it into makes it like really busy too.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of different, going from the cell shading to the actual stylized 3D.
I think like Suda 51 did have a small manga career, and I would recommend. I'll figure it out what the name of it is probably later after this podcast. But it's really interesting as far as style goes, and it's kind of trippy. But I think he like has a lot of favors from those days because he usually pulls in a few like manga artists. Like he has was it Doro Hedoro?
Oh
yeah.
Artist for Shadows of the Damned. That's who the main artist is for that.
Oh,
okay.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So, I can see it now that you say it.
I just wanted to kind of bring that up. That's one of the big things that even though there's not a lot shown, they did show some gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I always like calling out Suda 51 because he's well worth it. And then the next one, and we'll have a bunch of stuff we'll probably skip. But the next thing is Silent Hill F. I'm very interested in this. This is a game I will be getting later this year. Silent Hill is a franchise for a battered audience right now. As a franchise, our top 5 games are Silent Hill 1, 2, 3, 4, and Silent Hill 2 Remake.
Are you telling me that you didn't like Downpour for the Wii?
No. Or what was that one that everyone's like, it has that really cool psychological thing at the end that analyzes you. And it's like, yeah, the rest of the game's not good, though.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to bring up the 2 alien ending or something.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind that because that was in like 2 and 1 and 3.
I'll also say, though, that just as a weird side note, like I bring up Downpour as a joke, but Downpour does actually have a weird soft spot in my heart because they used a function that no one ever used for the Wii, where to use the radio and static and everything, it would actually come out through the Wiimote.
Oh,
and
cool.
like that would like scare the crap out of me. Like when you would get like cutscene dialogue or like in ambient dialogue, you'd actually have to like hold the Wiimote up to your ear like a radio because it'd be super quiet.
Oh man, oh yeah. But the other thing is like this is in 1960s Japan. This is the earliest in the timeline because the first game is like in 96, I think, or 98. I can't remember. So this may be an origin story. I don't know, for the Cult of the Order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the aesthetic of the few monsters they've shown us so far.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where the nurses are. Maybe they're just going to show up a little bit later.
No. Have you played Silent Hill?
Yeah.
I'm
messing
played
around.
one. Yeah.
It has a very just the aesthetic and the time and everything gives it a very Fatal Frame kind of vibe, which also keeps you so on your toes.
The movement I also kind of like.
Yeah, it's kind of clunky, but not overly clunky, and I like.
It's the most uncanny I've seen out of the series.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. From what I understand, there's no ranged weapons in this game because 1960s Japan, where are you going to get a gun?
Pop service rifle.
Yeah. Which I imagine this might have something to do with the what's the word I'm looking for? The occupation of Japan at that time. I think it was.
Yeah. It might be thematically tied into the not a lot of good happening.
I also just want to know what the F stands for because it's a Japan game. So what does F stand for in a Japanese game?
Feech for the moon.
I was about to say it stands for Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Because the F is silent.
Yeah. All right. And that's Silent Hill F. It's something that it's also what I'm going to judge Konami on going forward. Because they released Silent Hill 2 Remake, and that was good. I just played it. It's a great game. I will probably replay the original more than that because it's like twice as long as the original for some reason.
Okay.
It's weird.
Wait, what did they add in? How did they pad that out?
It's just like, imagine every level is now twice as long. Like, do you know how many enemies there are in the original game? Have you played the original?
No, I have not.
Okay, in the original...
I've not finished the original. I played like the first 5 hours, but I got too scared because I was a child.
Oh, okay. The original 2 had a total of 150 enemies.
Oh, okay.
How many do you think I killed? And I skipped enemies in the remake. How many do you think I killed? Because I was going for a specific ending that involves killing as many enemies as possible, but I started skipping.
And you skipped a couple.
I skipped a lot.
I would put it at that 150 mark, then maybe.
382.
Oh my god. So they like quadrupled the number of enemies in the game.
It's so many, and I'm like, holy shit. And like I said, the thing is, it's all the same cutscenes. So it's the same story.
Yeah.
But it's like stretched out. Like the time between cutscenes is stretched out.
Yeah.
So the pacing for me is off.
Now, do you think that they did that for padding it, or do you think that was just like the original like vision for the game that they didn't have the budget for in the first one?
I think Bloober Team, who made it, originally was probably going to add some stuff, and then people found out Bloober Team was making it and was calling for their heads on pikes, and they were like, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Maybe we shouldn't inject our ideas of what would be better into the game, and we'll just pad it a little bit. We'll inverse Kojima it, so that was longer spaces without cutscenes.
You know, because their writing in the past has been questionable.
Yeah.
I think, have you played The Medium?
The Medium?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
A little spoilers. I'll give you the message. Those who have done wrong should die, including children who have been raped and have lashed out.
Ooh, okay.
And want to die. They should die.
Old Testament. Like...
Very brave stance to take in the year of our Lord 2025.
So, I think people were like, oh, God, you're giving it to these people?
So they really had to like play it safe by just keeping the original story. And
I think they were going to put stuff in between all that, but they're like, okay, we're just going to leave the levels as they are. And then...
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I think happened there. But... back to what I was saying, I think this will be my testing ground for Konami because it's one thing to get remakes right. That's the bare minimum. They have fucked up the bare minimum in the past with the remasters. Quick on that, what they did with that is they would remove the fog and they're like, hey, we don't need the fog anymore, and didn't replace the textures that the fog was hiding.
I think I remember I remember hearing something about that where it was like, the original limitations of the game were actually what was improving it because stuff is still left like half rendered in the fog.
Yeah.
And also the funniest thing, they have a text specifically made for Silent Hill for the sign. It's Silent Hill text. You can just find it. They replaced that for some reason with Comic Sans.
Comic Sans, my boy.
It's amazing. So they have fucked up remakes in the past, but doing them right is the bare minimum.
Yeah.
This is the first original game, not IP, since then that they are making. And this will determine whether or not, in my opinion, Konami is worth it. Because it's, like I said, it's one thing to do remakes right. That's fine, whatever. You can hire out for that and you'd be fine. But if you can't make new stuff, why should I care about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay. Next up, we're not going to talk about it in depth, but Bloodstained, The Scarlet Engagement was out, and my note for that is, Iga will make Konami his bitch. This is the man who made Castlevania Symphony of the Night. He's basically the forefather of what has become the Metroidvania, the godfather of that. And it's really funny that he was put right after a Konami game. And he basically left Konami because they wouldn't let him make a Castlevania game anymore. And so now he just gets to make his Bloodstained series, and good for him.
Yep.
Good for him.
Next, we have Digimon Story, Time Stranger, time-traveling detectives with Digimon. Now, as far as I know, these Digimon games are good. I've never played them. I have friends who've played them, and they're like, they're great. I'll take their word for it.
Yeah. I have not interacted with the entire Digimon ecosystem ever.
Here. Yeah, I've heard really good things about it, but it's just never really been my kind of thing to try out.
My only thing that I know about Digimon is that they take over my local game shop on Saturdays, and that annoys me. Because I'm angry and I am scared of things that I don't know how they work. So
yeah. And next we have Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles. This is a remake of the original Final Fantasy Tactics. I've never played this, and I was a little disappointed in this because I thought this would be not Final Fantasy. I thought this would be Chrono Trigger. I knew Square Enix was going to do like a HD 2D remake of one of their games, and earlier this year they were like, "Hey, we're going to do a lot of projects with Chrono Trigger. Maybe it's going to be this." No. It's not. It's not Final Fantasy. It's Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm happy for those people.
yeah.
But I wanted Chrono Trigger. Even if I thought they were doing it in a cynical reason. My prediction video was very cynical in that regard. Where I was like, they're going to do this because Toriyama died last year, and they're going to be like, look how we're honoring Toriyama. I'm an asshole who thinks Square is like that. I'm sorry.
They could still do it.
They could still do it. I imagine they'll eventually get to it.
They can't keep getting away with this.
Next was Baby Steps. This is that like streamer bait game where you play as a guy in a like onesie and you. It's the co-op game or the, Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy.
It's the next new like good Twitch streamer rage bait.
Yeah. I don't play these games. So I don't know.
No. I played I Am Bread back in the day, and I was like, I realized that I enjoy having fun with games rather than being upset with them.
You didn't want to play that with Jeremy?
No. No, especially not the two-player. When I found out that there was two-player, I was like, I don't trust anybody with this.
I will say, it is one of those kinds of games are fun to have a group of friends watch one person not have a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why it's fun to watch on stream.
Yeah.
I would never play one of those games just by myself, though.
Yeah.
Like I've done stupid stuff for fun in the past, like not video game related. Like there is an inherent male joy in seeing your friends get hurt, try to do something stupid.
Yes.
And to see them take emotional damage from a video game kind of falls into that category. But I think after the age of 16, I was like, oh, wow, it isn't fun to get hit in the back by a 2x4 just to see what would happen. And that's what some of those rage games like make me feel.
Yeah. I'm gonna go quick for a couple of them. Hirogami. This is like a Paper Mario platformer. I actually played a demo of it. It's not bad. Not my type of thing, but it's there. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. This is coming back to Hot Shots Golf. I don't know why it's worded like that. This is wacky golf. It's fun with some friends. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. This doesn't have a video. This is made by the Blasphemous devs. This is really good. This is a little like it's not a Metroidvania, but it's a platformer, and it's very well designed. It has a demo out, I think, on everything, and I recommend people go play it. Next, we have Cairn. This is a mountain climbing game. It's kind of zen. It's a little harder than that one that came out from Don't Nod called Jusant. It's a little more granular in what they want you to do. I don't think I'm getting that in day one, but it's something to keep an eye on.
What do you mean by granular?
You have to like kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Like more intricate, like more system managey?
Yeah, more system managing. And you have to watch what you're carrying because that affects things, how much you're carrying on you. You're trying to get to like checkpoints and stuff.
Okay.
Sometimes you're making your own checkpoints. You have to make good decisions of where to put like a pitten to be able to climb further, that type of thing.
Okay.
This isn't the most stressful climber I've played. That's White Knuckle, where you're being chased by demons and a flood of mutant serum as you climb, but that's more like an arcade game. And that's stressful as all shit.
Okay.
But it's not like I wouldn't call it a streamer game. Because it's not like awkward controlling. But onto that, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. This actually is made by a company. I didn't write down the company's name. I should have. But it's made by a company that does fantastic work in like logging and doing historical work for video games, and it's something that I might get down the line because they've done games in the past, and what it is like it's the game, and then you have like interviews with the dev and like a timeline of events of how the development went throughout the years.
Okay.
And this is for like I think the first 4 Mortal Kombat games.
Okay.
And so it's something that's just kind of interesting. PlayStation now has a fight stick is the next thing.
Oh, it does look like it was Digital Eclipse.
Digital Eclipse.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat Legacy.
Yeah, they do fantastic work. If you are interested into the history of video games, I recommend checking out everything they've put out. Next is Metal Gear Solid Delta. This is one of the Konami remakes that I mentioned. It actually looks really good. Not $70 good. I don't want to buy a game that I already own for $70.
Yeah.
So next we have, where am I? Oh, Neo 3. I have not played any of the Neo games. So
I'm entirely unfamiliar.
It's like a Souls-like made by Bandai Namco. I guess I got to play the 2. I like Souls-likes. I just never got around to Neo. Well, I think I played part of Neo 1. I haven't finished it. After that, we have Thief VR. I don't play VR. I like Thief, but not enough to get a VR set.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like that's a running theme for a good amount of these things we've gone over. Do we play video games?
I do.
Yeah.
It's just we had like 3 things that I really care about, and now it's just Tides of Tomorrow. I'm not sure what this is. I'm kind of interested to know. It's like this weird interdimensional multiplayer. I have a video in.
I'm sorry. Hold on. What is it called? I have to pull this up now.
Tides of Tomorrow. I'm not sure like how this multiplayer works. It's like called a multiplayer narrative game. That's their statement. And
Okay.
I'm like,
because that is the most fascinating review that you could give something is I don't even know what this is.
that's the thing. I'm not sure what it's trying to do. Is it like similar to like Death Stranding where everyone's like sort of in the same world, but it's affected by other people, but you're only by yourself? Or is everyone in the world? Like you're seeing the shadows of previous people?
Very colorful.
Yeah, and so you see that, and it's like, so is that guy in your game, or is he like in a separate universe, but you're affected by what he chose to do?
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure what this is.
If I can do 4th dimensional griefing, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
That sounds fascinating.
That's why. But the thing is, this doesn't show. This isn't real gameplay. That's
Okay.
my issue. Like this is not real gameplay. It's too smooth. This is like maybe real gameplay when you're looking through a telescope.
So you're seeing like the choices that you can make through other people's.
Yeah, that's what I like I said, I want to know how the multiplayer's implemented. Is everyone there, or is it like I said a Death Stranding thing where it's like you're kind of affected by other people?
Yeah.
I dig the aesthetic enough that even if I might pick this up if like even if the multiplayer thing ends up flopping or if it's not implemented in the way that we think it is, like this looks like it would be super fun as a single player experience, just as like an adventure shooter.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why they needed to throw that in there. It's a cool, different concept, whatever the concept is that we can't
Figure out.
comprehend right now.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, it's cool.
Yeah. So next, Astrobot gets, I think, 5 more levels. I don't own a PlayStation 5, so I can't touch that. Sea of Remnants. I originally was kind of excited for this, and then I found out it was a live service mobile game, and
Ooh.
Yeah.
that killed all hype for me. Next, Sword of the Sea. This is an open world, kind of skating game thing made by people who made like Journey and Abzu and The Pathless. If you like those types of games,
That's right. Yeah, you had mentioned to me offhanded like one time that there was another one of those like walking sim adventure games, like Journey.
But this is like, there is another one down the line. This is actually more like kind of skating around this like big open world. It looks interesting, but I would like to see a little bit more. Not entirely my thing, but that's there. Then we have 007 First Light. We actually didn't get to see a lot of gameplay, just a little bit. But this is being made by IO Interactive. And I'm very interested to see how they made this. Is it like going to be like Uncharted? Or is it going to be similar to their Hitman games, where you have like a bunch of choices in how to approach things? Because that would be a lot more interesting. Mm-hmm. I would like to be able to do more espionage than like action, but this shows a lot of action, and that has me a little worried.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Hitman games, and that was kind of what I would have preferred myself for a concept like this. I guess it's something we're just gonna have to kind of wait and see on.
Yeah, I definitely want to see like gameplay, because they show a little bit, but it's just not a lot.
Now, on the flip side of that too, as someone who's played a lot of the 007 games over the years, good and bad.
Yeah.
I like, outside of if they meld like the options from the two to bring it back to kind of that original 007 career mode, almost akin to like a Call of Duty campaign.
Yeah.
Like that is something that I feel a lot of nostalgia for. So even if they make this just like a hallway shooter with a good story to it, I'd be more than satisfied with that to get back to that feeling.
I would be kind of happy if it was just close to what GoldenEye was at.
Yeah.
Where the original GoldenEye, where it is kind of that hallway shooter, but you also have these open world things. It's kind of an early example of a Hitman game in a weird fucking way.
Yeah, it's a hallway shooter that leads to open areas where you have choices of how to engage groups, but at the end of those series of choices, you're still engaging that group.
And that's something I would be fine with if they did that. One thing I'm going to point out, because I've read the books, this is the only James Bond I've ever seen that has the scar on his cheek. That is a thing in the books.
Okay.
I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah.
And clearly they got a bunch of sponsors because he's driving his Aston Martin. And I think they showed all the little sponsors they have, so it's going to look like a authentic James Bond. And this is supposed to be like an early James Bond.
Yeah, all the weapons, all the vehicles, these all look name brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is before he became Sean Connery.
Later
in the timeline.
It's
a very good trailer.
I'm fascinated by whatever that golden armored statue looking thing was.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on there. That was so brief. Oh, classic alligators.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more about this one. This is one of the things that I'm kind of the most excited about. Well,
make sure you pre-order so you can get the golden gun.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
That's pretty. That's so blatant.
Yeah. So after that was Ghost of Yotei. This I just wrote my note is cock tease, because they didn't show shit.
That seems to be a running theme.
It's a 45-second. Hey, we're gonna show gameplay in July. That's all it's there for.
Great.
Okay, and then
the trailer for the trailer.
Yes. And they ended this off with, probably for a lot of people, this was the biggest reveal of the season, and that is Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. This has a trailer. Well, this is like a big thing. And my note here, I'll say it once we get to it, but this is obviously being made by Arc System Works. And this is like when it was revealed, it's Marvel. Like when you were watching it, it's like, wait, ArcSys is making a Marvel, and ArcSys is like a big fighting game. They made the Dragon Ball Fighters game.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And this is a 4v4. This kind of took the wind out of Invincible later in the not E3 season.
Yeah.
And so far they show like I think 8 characters in this. But my note here is, I don't need you anymore, Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah.
The entire FGC is that meme of Andy dropping Woody into the trash can.
Yep.
And it's Marvel versus Capcom. I don't play fighting games, but this is a big deal because this is, Sony owns Evo, the big fighting game tournament.
Yeah.
And they also now have Marvel, which is one of the biggest IPs for fighting games. I don't know if this will be bigger than Dragon Ball Fighters. That's what I'm kind of curious about. But this does look good.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. It looks fun, but it'll have to come down to... do you see... Okay, let me run a hypothetical by you.
Yes.
Hypothetically, if the greater fighting game community resolves that this is a huge pan, that this is like not a competitively viable fighting game to be used in tournaments, do you think that Sony is still going to try to shove this into Evo?
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. This will be one of those situations where it's guaranteed to be an Evo before it's out. That's happened before with some Capcom games because Capcom made deals. They will definitely do that. It will be at Evo in 2026. It might even come out the week before Evo and still be an Evo because that's happened.
I am... Is it bad that I kind of want to see the dumpster fire happen? I kind of I want this to be a good game because I want to have fun playing it, but I also want to see this be bad because I want to see Sony shove it into Evo and everybody be mad about it.
I love that earlier you were like, I've kind of moved past the just liking seeing people mad for no reason. Except people that like fighting games. I want to see all of these people pissed off that the game that they wanted to come out sucks.
No. I said that I was overhurting myself for fun.
Oh,
that's it.
Not other people.
If it looks bad, I know that I don't have to fight. I don't have to play this game, but somebody else who has a full-time Evo paycheck has to.
So that was the end of the PlayStation State of Play. My opinion on this overall was okay. My opinion of this was on the floor. If you don't like Japanese games, this was bad for you. I love Japanese games. This was okay for me because there is a bit of, we had that entire just me kind of going down where it's like, I don't really care about a lot of these games, but there's 5 games here that I really like.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, between Silent Hill and Marvel Tokon, however you pronounce that, Tokon.
I'm not sure.
And a lot of these, this was a pretty Japanese heavy lineup.
And a lot of it was front loaded because we stopped to talk about Pragmata, Romeo's Dead, Silent Hill F. Those are back to back.
Yeah.
And then it's all the way down the list until we see something else that we really wanted to talk about.
Yeah. And so that's it for PlayStation State of Play. Let's get to Summer Game Fest, and let's start with Mortal Shell 2. This is a Souls-like game, sequel to Mortal Shell. It was okay. It's one of the lower budget Souls games, so it's for what it was fine. It looks a lot better, more heavy metal. The original was very sci-fi, but this looks very gory and more heavy metal. And then we have the Fortnite announcement. And my note is, oh no.
Oh no.
Because the way Summer Games Fest is, if you watch Jeff Keighley enough, our glorious Dorito Pope, if you watch him enough, you know that what he does is he kind of front loads stuff he really, really likes up front, and then he does the Fortnite thing. And then you're going to have a bunch of like kind of stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
To bad.
And it lets you know when Fortnite is the front load, you're in for something not that great for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now, he immediately follows Fortnite. He tries to trick us, but it doesn't work. At least it doesn't work on me. Because the next trailer is Death Stranding cutscene. And, you know, that's Jeff Keighley's boyfriend, Kojima. They love each other. I'm glad that they love each other.
Wait, there's another... They're making... Wait, what do you mean by Death Stranding cutscene?
Death Stranding 2 cutscene.
Oh, Death Stranding 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it just came out. But
it would be a very Kojima thing to do, to announce he's making Death Stranding 2, and then release extra DLC for Death Stranding 1.
Yeah. He would do that.
The baby.
And it was fine. My view of this was not the worst Kojima thing. He didn't get overly into it.
Yeah.
My note is...
Do you mean worst by bad or most egregious?
Most egregious.
Okay.
There's a lot more egregious Kojima
100%.
fellacioing. My note is that was both painless and pointless. That is my feeling on the Death Stranding 2 trailer there. Next we have Chronicles Medieval. It was a CG trailer and it doesn't really give us anything. I think you mentioned it, Holden, because it was just it ends with some gameplay of a knight riding a horse, but
it tells you almost literally nothing about what the game is going to be like.
Yeah, horse game.
The only thing that it shows you in the game is a guy slowly riding forward on a horse between lines of soldiers, and it doesn't even look good. The rest is just CGI mess. I'm not excited about it at all.
So after that, we had Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. My note is Sonic Kart again and Minecraft for the kids. Because it's got a bunch of stuff. It's even got Nickelodeon characters. It's got SpongeBob in it. It just was announced. It's got Joker. It's got Ichiban. It's a bunch of stuff. These card games are good from what I hear, but...
It's got Hatsune Miku in it.
It does.
It's got something for everybody.
And, after that, we have Code Vein 2. My note is, how does it feel to be a more successful spin-off? Because this is based off of the God Eater franchise, and barely anyone I know has ever played that or heard
Never
of it.
met somebody that played that game.
I know a handful of people, and that's it. I've played them, but this is a spin-off of that where you play as anime vampire people, and it's a Souls-like.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Because I don't know much about the game at all. I hear God Eater mentioned in review circles and tech circles about God Eater. It's this one of the greats. I've never met a single person who's played it.
I'm going to be real. For some people, it's a more mechanically rewarding version of Monster Hunter, but it also lacks some of the more crunchy feeling of Monster Hunter. So it's this weird thing where people who are hardcore really, really like it. Okay. But then people who aren't hardcore about Monster Hunter kind of feel like it's not enough. Because it's a lot lower budget. And it's one of the only things I was ever able to kind of go against Monster Hunter. Not really. It never even touched Monster Hunter. And that's sort of what God Eater is. I can't really recommend it unless how much do you like Monster Hunter?
Yeah.
If you don't even care about Monster Hunter, I wouldn't even recommend it.
So it's the opposite of Dauntless.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because Dauntless was so arcadey and easy to get into for people who thought that Monster Hunter was too grindy or too hard or too slow, and that, from what I hear, is currently terminal and dying a slow death.
It was bought by an NFT group, and then they apparently were so horrible that the devs were like, we should just kill the game. We should just force the game to die.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, that was the whole thing, is that they did at one point, to try and generate revenue, to try and keep the studio afloat, they did a hard update that revamped the game, but it also wiped everybody's progress.
Yes.
Everybody's hundreds of hours of grinding.
Just cause to ask for your money back.
Yeah.
But this was like 2 years into the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was bad. After that, we have End of Abyss. This is a Little Nightmares like.
Ooh, okay.
I'm kind of interested. I want to see more. This is published by Epic. It's only going to be on the Epic Game Stores on PC. I think it's going to be on PlayStation and Xbox everywhere. So if that sounds interesting, go check it out. I kind of put Mouse PI here, and I just wanted to show it. Mouse PI for Hire. This is a black and white hose animation FPS. It looks awesome. I love this. I kind of want to know a little bit more if it's just pure action or if it's kind of like BioShock where you can kind of explore a little and look through things.
Yeah.
Because I've never been able to entirely see. But like you can go online and you can find even bigger clips of stuff. But I just love this animation and this style.
Yeah, BioShock was the first like kind of vibe that I got when I saw this trailer. And I mean, I always really liked the BioShock games, so I would be excited for something like that. But the aesthetic is definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it stays fresh, you know?
Yeah.
That would just kind of depend on how varied it is throughout the game. But definitely something that I'd keep an eye on.
It's fascinating. It looks also. I the first time that we ran through this, I 100% thought that character was just named Troy Baker. It says Troy Baker as Jack Pepper, but they put Troy Baker's name so much fucking bigger for some reason. But this gives me like Doom feeling.
Yes.
That like 2.5D of like sprites following you. Their like hit zones follow. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's interesting and a take on Rubber Hose that I would not have taken. That's super cool.
I've been kind of following this for like a couple of years, and I just like calling it out because it looks so awesome. Next, we have Game of Thrones, War for Westeros. And my note is, look out, WB is behind you.
Oh, no.
This is a RTS game. I don't play a lot of RTS games. I hope people who like it will get this and they enjoy it. So... next, we have Atomic Heart 2. I have very mixed feelings on the first Atomic Heart. It's a very okay game that makes a bunch of very questionable choices. The big issue with the first one is like everything that's like indoors in this game is great. It's fantastic. It's well designed. It's very well paced. But when you're outdoors, it's bad. Because it's like, hey, don't get spotted or you'll have infinitely spawning robots come after you.
That was the note that I have watched someone play this game, and that was the biggest note that he gave me was that every time that I would come back into the room, he would be outside. And I was like, isn't like every trailer I've ever seen for this game for Atomic Hearts 1 was inside and like the cool action. And he was like, I don't know where the fuck I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm infinitely dying outside.
Yeah,
like
it sucks. The outside is terrible, and it's like, okay, maybe fix the outside so it's not bad, and I hope they do that. Because there's other good stuff. The enemies are fun. They have a bunch of cool powers and shit. Things that kind of interact with each other, like you can cover people in this like water stuff and then light them all on with electricity. And also this trailer gives us a lot more faceless sex robots. A lot more.
Yeah.
Right as we okay, there we go. Is that Mike Myers?
I don't.
Oh, why does she look like that? I don't like that.
So that's like the service bots. They're like waiters and stuff. So there's different ones. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how they improve this. This doesn't have a release date. This is not even 2026 release. This is just
it's happening.
It's happening. In fact, they funny enough, you made that joke about Kojima putting out a DLC before Death Stranding 2 came out. They're doing that. They still have one more DLC for Atomic Heart to come out.
Good Lord.
One more expansion. They got to do that first.
Well, to be fair, like you said, there's no release date for this, so this could be coming out like in 2035.
Yeah, it could come out in God knows how long because the original took forever to make. Okay, the next thing, that they announced is just right after was The Cube. And The Cube is an MMO in the Atomic Heart universe.
Yeah.
And my thought is this popular enough to sustain an MMO?
Yeah.
The reception of Atomic Heart was, it's all right. Overall, that's most people kind of had my feeling, which is like the inside's great, the outside's god awful.
Yeah, it was popular on like streaming media and YouTubers and stuff because there was a lot of like attention grabbing stuff that people wanted to see reactions of. But just like as a game for individuals, I never really heard like a ton of overwhelming support for Atomic Heart.
Yeah, my thought was like, this has potential. A sequel could iron out a lot of things that are wrong with this. And I said a sequel, not any DLC. You couldn't fix some of the problems in that game with just DLC. You needed a sequel, which that's why I'm more interested in Atomic Heart 2 than this. This has a weird thing where you're on a cube, and it's supposed to be transforming. Maybe it's Battle Royale. Is it a Battle Royale or an MMO?
Yeah, if it's a Battle Royale, I could see it kind of working out. But if this ends up being like some kind of 76 situation where you're supposed to like go through a story collaboratively with other people in this world, I don't see there being enough popularity with individual players rather than the media surrounding them to justify this.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, because MMOs are a bitch to get off the ground.
Yeah, I would assume it's a battle royale. That's kind of the vibe that I got originally. Still, I don't know if it's something that's like.
I'm just checking to see.
Because if you took like an Apex or the Finals or something like that, and you slapped an Atomic Hearts aesthetic on it, that seems like it would be very fun, even if it's not my jam. Like I could see that doing well.
I'm seeing if it's labeled as it says multiplayer RPG shooter.
That does not inspire confidence.
The Cube is an MMO RPG shooter. A giant levitating cube with rotating rows and edges. Hidden within is an unknown equation capable of altering the laws of reality. Can you survive another turn? That's on the Steam page. So it says RPG shooter MMO.
Ooh, wait. Maybe it's like a Tarkov situation.
Maybe.
That would be like an extraction shooter where the cube is the battleground. That I'm just trying to be optimistic.
Yeah.
I would like it to do well and them not to shoot themselves in the foot because this is a cool.
That sounds
it's a
like
cool
a better
IP.
concept.
Yeah. But yeah, I just kind of want to talk about that because it's an odd decision to make after one tepidly received game.
Yeah, one tepidly received adventure shooter.
Well, to be fair, this is like the AAA gaming space where like people higher up see the success of something and they're like, we have to do that. And then 10 years later, they come out with their AAA game that's trying to emulate something that was really successful.
Yeah.
Whenever they started the production.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see someone being like, we need to have our battle royale or our extraction shooter long past when those first were like blowing up everywhere.
Also, if it does end up being like an extraction shooter style, that would also give it credence into the streamer space again, because that would be a very easily streamable and broadcastable game for entertainment, rather than, hey guys, come hop on my Fallout 76 server.
Yeah.
Come hop on my cube server.
Yeah. Dude, let's cube it up. Y'all cubing it right now?
All right, and that's the Cube. I was just it's an anomaly. We'll see how it goes. Next we have Marvel Cosmic Invasion. It's a Marvel beat 'em up. It looks like a beat 'em up. It doesn't look special. There's a lot of indie game beat 'em ups that are just blowing this out of the water. It doesn't look bad, but there's a lot better out there. That's my only thing about that.
That was my same opinion. It's just an arcadey game that just nothing really exciting about it.
Yeah. Then we have Onimusha Way of the Sword. This is Capcom's big game. Another one of their big games. I don't really need to talk about it all that much. I feel that this is one of their things that they announced too early. Not as early as like Pragmata, but they didn't show as much here. They did show off because you're playing as Musashi, and they showed off his rival. What the fuck is that guy's name? In every Musashi thing ever.
I have a name in my head, but I'm not going to say it for fear of people calling me
Something with
stupid
the-
on
yeah.
the internet.
While you look that up, though, the like I do have to say that this has become a pretty big in-game development problem that is weird. Where like as soon as you start development for something, a production studio that like the corporate hand overtop you, like you never hear about indie devs. Well, you do sometimes, but not nearly as often. You hear about indie devs releasing a project that they already have the money for that they're making, and they release all the like publicity for it far too early, and it kills off hype because that wave is far too far back from when the game actually comes out.
Yeah.
That's a thing that's pretty much isolated to the corporate world, where your corporate overlords need proof that people will be interested in this game that they have spent all this money on.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that they are kind of killing off their own game preemptively by putting out all this publicity early. And nobody's interested in it a year from now when you put out another trailer that just says, hey, it's going to be another year.
The only one I can think of indie-wise is Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's kind of isolated itself into a meme at some point. I could also say Yandere Dev, like if I wanted to name indie devs that are doing this. But yeah, this is such a corporate thing.
Yeah, but yeah, it like his rival is Sasaki Kojiro.
Sasaki Kojiro.
Right.
Yeah, that's like the big rival of every Musashi story ever, and they showed him off in this. They didn't show off a lot else. This is not, and they have to clarify this every time, and it's kind of funny. This is not a Souls game. This is not a Souls-like.
This is not a. I swear to God, guys.
We're telling you now, it is not a Souls-like. Please stop saying it's a Souls-like. They do that every time for every interview. They're like, how were you inspired by Dark Souls? We're not inspired by Dark Souls. This is a continuation of the Onimusha franchise that's been around since before Dark Souls. It's funny.
Just waiting for somebody to come out. Dark Souls is an Onimusha-like.
Oh man. And so that's yeah. After that, we have Felt That Boxing.
Oh, that was a very goofy trailer.
It was goofy.
Yeah.
It's Muppets Punch Out.
There's nothing wrong with fun.
Yeah,
I
it
enjoyed
looks
That's
fun.
refreshing.
I enjoyed Punch Out, and it does have a very funny aesthetic.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in it. I'm also curious how they made it because apparently all of that was gameplay, what they showed.
I was curious because it looked like gameplay, but I wasn't 100% sure.
It looks weird, especially the fight looked like weirdly photorealistic. It's weird.
Okay.
It's all puppets. You can pull it up.
Yeah, now that you say that, because I am going into a disclaimer that I probably should have said up front. I'm going into a lot of this blind because I didn't do the homework because I thought I was just going to be the tech hands in this. But what is this title again?
Felt
That Boxing.
Yep.
Felt That Boxing. I don't like that face at all.
It's a Muppet, man.
It's a Muppet. It's the Muppet face. Well, a legally distinct Muppet face.
Okay, I'm about it now. Yeah, I'm all about it.
So this is supposed to be gameplay, like actual gameplay.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
This looks absolutely fantastic. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if, well, I guess I shouldn't say not surprised because every trailer does this now. But these settings on your game when you buy it will probably light your computer on fire.
Yeah.
But this looks amazing, and I would be interested to see how this downscales.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
The first time I saw that, I was like, man, if only they could have gotten the rights to like actual Muppets, it would have been very funny to me for that to just become a canonical backstory for like Oscar the Grouch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually get access to like the Henson like estate.
Like this is just how Oscar saved Sesame Street before he lived in a trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next we have Killer N. This is by Square Enix. This is another deception game like Among Us.
Yeah.
Do you want another one? That's Yeah.
It's one of those trends that people are chasing.
It's going to happen whether we want it or not. So might as well be okay with it.
All right. Next we have Arc Raiders. I actually don't care about Arc Raiders at all. I don't care about extraction shooters. But my note is, came and stole Marathon's lunch. If Holden and I watched the hype trailer for Summer Game Fest, 10% of it was Marathon clips. This is funny to me, considering what's happened to Marathon. It got delayed indefinitely.
Ooh.
And so Bungie has not made Sony a dime. Do you know how much they were bought for?
It's some ridiculous 8-digit number, I'm sure.
It is $3.6 billion.
No.
Yes. $3.6 billion, and they have not made Sony a dime.
Sony would have been better off buying NFTs with that money.
They really would have. It's one of the worst decisions. I remember when it was bought, and I was convinced by like Skill Up, who's like, no, Bungie makes a lot of money and stuff, guys. This is actually a really smart purchase. And then I'm like, maybe. And then I'm like, like all the layoffs and stuff happen, and then it's like revealed they have not made a single dime the entire time they've existed. They have not made profits since they've been bought by Sony. They are a failure, and it's like, holy shit.
No, but my Master Chief.
Destiny, like they bought them right as Destiny reached its peak, and then it's just been downhill since then.
But yeah, Arc Raiders is another one of those games I'm just not really excited for. Like, just nothing that they really showed in the trailer really caught my attention, and it's just a game market that I'm not really interested in to begin with.
Extraction shooters are a thing I feel that I would despise, and I do not want to make gaming a job for me because I do not like what's the word I'm looking for? I say I don't want to make gaming a job, and I have a YouTube channel about covering gaming, so that's a bit of an oxymoron there. So,
well, you're a YouTuber. You can be a hypocrite. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine being a hypocrite.
There's only one thing that you can't do in the YouTube space.
Touch kids?
Yeah.
You can do it once.
No.
I've seen people bounce back.
Oh, God. All right, next we have Dune Awakening. This is that Dune survival MMO thing. I haven't played it, and I don't care about it.
I don't know anything about Dune. I haven't watched the movies. I haven't read the books. I don't...
I know you have the book. Have you read it, or is it just...
Yeah, I mean, like, Dune is very cool. There's a lot of, like, really awesome, like, lore to the universe and everything. I am not confident in very many studios to be able to make something that would be satisfying out of it anymore.
This is made by the Conan Exile. Is it Conan Exile?
Yeah, Conan Exiles.
Okay. Developer. So they have seemed to be making something. It's basically a survival game.
Yeah.
People seem to like it. It's not my thing though.
Wait, like a survival MMO, kind of like a Rust type thing.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
I
But
can
there's
get
like
behind that. That sounds cool.
PvE segments and there's PvP sections.
Yeah, Conan Exiles had like a really lot of cool ideas too. I had never played it myself. At least with the ideas team that they had, if they used them for this, I think they could come up with some really cool concepts for it. It's just I'm a little bit jaded with the industry right now, and I'm not confident in anyone at the moment being able to make an MMO that's going to satisfy Dune fans. But maybe it'll just be something that people enjoy just as a game if you don't think about it too hard.
Well, also, when's the last time that anything other than the books came out that satisfied any Dune fan?
I think the books have even not satisfied them at
that's fair
point.
enough.
Wasn't it taken over by his son, and then people were like, "Oh, this isn't very good."
Yeah, after the first two books, I haven't heard anything like good about like, oh, the later books don't capture the soul. No movie adaptation has ever fully captured all the detail of them. Like some people like movie adaptations of some books. You know, Lord of the Rings, it has a very good lean of like people like the movies, but it's missing stuff from the books. People have a very good lean on the Harry Potter movies, whereas like Dune, it's like universally, it's like you either like the movie or you have read the book.
Yeah. So after that, we have Chrono Odyssey. I don't know what this is. I wrote Souls-like MMO with a question mark. I don't care. It's an MMO. I know that.
Yeah.
Next was Wuthering Waves. This is one of those gacha games. Next, Mio, Memories in Orbit. I played the demo. It's Metroidvania that has a nice aesthetic. Then we have Mafia: The Old Country. This is something I'm very interested in. It looks like a return to form after 3. Because 3 was that like weird kind of Ubisoft style game. Now, I don't know if this is an open world. That's the one thing I have. The trailer they showed at Summer Games Fest is just a cinematic trailer. There is a gameplay trailer online. But what's been shown looks more in line with Mafia 1 and Mafia 2. I would say more the original, like Mafia 1 especially. And this is supposed to be like a prequel to the entire series because this is before Mafia 1.
I think that's a good direction to go with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mafia 3 was in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mafia 2 was 1940s and 53 or some shit. But I'm curious if it's an open world because they do have driving segments. They've shown you can drive, but is it like just these kind of things? And that would be fine, like an Uncharted style game for Mafia, because really the Mafia games were always very linear. Like the open world really did not serve a purpose in those games. It was kind of just extra there, and this looks good. Also, it's $50 from 2K.
That is refreshing.
Yeah, this is not even a $60 game, and I was surprised by that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm very interested in this. They do have like a $60 version that gets you prettier costumes and shit, but whatever.
Yeah,
that's every game now.
Yeah.
After that, we have Lego Voyagers. This is you play as Lego bricks, like actual just Lego bricks, and it's a co-op game.
Okay.
That's it. Then we have Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny. This is a Nickelodeon top-down RPG made by Game Mill. Those are the people who made that Kong Skull Island game last year. Yes. It didn't show anything here, really.
No.
So I wouldn't even bother watching the video because you're not going to get anything out of it. But I'm sure it's going to be amazing. After that, we have Lies of P Overture. The DLC was out. That was the big announcement. They're like, hey, it's out now. I didn't want to watch the video because it's like I don't have a lot to say. I like Lies of P. I'm more interested to see the sequel. I don't know if you guys played Lies of P.
No.
I'm very excited because it's going to be set in the Wizard of Oz books.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
That I can say that because it's not a spoiler for the story of Lies of P.
Okay.
It's like if you do enough the right things, you get the secret little ending at the end of credits, and it's like you get to see Dorothy's like feet in the little red slippers, and she clicks.
Okay.
And I'm very interested in that because I'm like, I've read the books, and there's a lot you can use, especially bears for some reason, but. Because the books, I think Frank L. Baum had someone in his family killed by a bear. Because they have the highest body count in those fucking books. Especially the invisible bears.
That seems cost effective for the props department to have invisible bears.
Yeah.
But yeah. And also, I just want to say right now, I hope that there are things called gnomes. It's with an N, not a G.
Okay.
They're like rock wizards, and their only weakness is eggs. I want that to be a thing.
That's like me. Yeah, absolutely. I can crush someone's head with a boulder, but like if I have, if my eggs are a little underscrambled in the morning, I'll be farting up a storm.
Okay. We have Fractured Bloom. This I have is Silent Hill if it was anime. This is my note. I think I want to talk about this.
Yeah, I remember this was something we had talked about. I like the trailer for this one. I kind of like story-driven stuff. And just the aesthetic and the narration of it, like, really caught my attention. And the aesthetics of it are very cool. So I'll be keeping an eye out on this one. It's not something that I would, like, buy day one or anything. But depending on how the reception for it is, I will probably be picking it up. This is the game that I probably have the highest chance of buying out of everything that was shown in Summer Games Fest so far.
It'll probably be the cheapest. I'm pretty sure this is an indie game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will not buy it if it costs $70.
Yeah.
Oh, I said Fractured Bloom. It's Fractured Blooms. We'll be talking about titles that are confusing later.
Yeah.
For sure.
It does kind of give like slight me-side vibes, but I'm pretty sure that's like,
Yeah.
not a surprise to anybody that's seen the trailer.
Okay, I'm just going to put all these together. Soul and Blade, and then City of Atlan, and then Seven Deadly Sins. These are all mobile game / MMO gotcha things. Moving past that, Jurassic World Evolution 3. I guess these are successful. Good for them. Then we have Mina the Hollower. Oh yeah, I backed this on Kickstarter. I'm excited for it. I played the demo on it in Steam Next Fest. It was great. It's fantastic. Looking forward to it. Then we had Deadpool VR, where they sort of teased Silk Song before the trailer, and some people were pissed about that.
It's still happening, I swear.
Yeah, I like Deadpool and Wolverine, but that's a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
This is probably gonna be 4 hours, and fourth wall breaking humor has a limit on how funny it can be consistently.
Yeah.
True.
That's like the other Deadpool game. Like, I heard it was okay.
It was okay. I played it back in the day.
Yeah, the one from way back in like 2012, 2013.
Yes.
360.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right. It was a fun turn your brain off kind of just little adventure. I wouldn't have. It had no real like replayability or anything like that.
No.
It was kind of like Lollipop Chainsaw, in that kind of vein of just like it was fun, and then when I was done with it, I was done with it.
I mean, that kind of the Deadpool thing. Like, I could see it lending itself okay to VR specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the same way they've got like the Blade and Sorcery games where people just do like random bullshit to entertain themselves, and I'm sure that could be funny to have Deadpool quips in there, mixed around. I think only one of us three has ever really used VR extensively.
I've done it once, and I got motion sick.
Yeah, no, I am a very big VR proponent, and I spent an unfortunate period of my time kind of trapped in VR for a very long time. During the start of COVID, I was working a job where I was very high risk, and so I was in exclusively socializing with people for like 6 months in VR.
Yeah, Ross was isekai'd for a little bit.
Oh, that's great.
I kind of got SAO'd, a little bit, where I was like kind of trapped in the game because the alternative was take my VR headset off and have a schizo break from not seeing anyone, like from being trapped in my fucking cell.
Yeah.
From what I saw, like this is one of the few games that I saw something about from VR. This is one of the few games that I saw about from these conferences, just like loose in the wild. Because I follow a lot of VR stuff, and it kind of falls into that vein where it's like it could have an engaging. I hope that it has an engaging story the same way that Half-Life Alyx and everything did. Yeah. But I do, at the end of the day, see this being a tool for people to mess around and just have fun in.
Probably,
Pulling off really cool and satisfying gunplay and melee mixture combos against NPC enemies and Yeah, it just seems like a fun sandbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
After that, we have Dying Light: The Beast. Maybe this one will have a good story, is my note, because none of these have had a satisfying ending, especially the second game. I don't know if you guys played the second game.
hold on, I actually have an expert on Dying Light that I can call in that we can phone in.
Jeremy?
Yeah, Jerry.
Because that ending was awful. It was one of the worst endings.
Come
So we have our expert coming in.
We're talking about Dying Light.
Dying Light 2 specifically, I wanted to talk to you about. What did you think of the ending of Dying Light 2?
I've never gotten to the
You
end.
did? Oh,
I lost interest about part way through.
I
'cause
can't blame you.
Everyone likes Dying Light 1 better, and so do I.
Yeah, well, it's a lot faster and more frenetic. And
What did you tell me the other day? Even the devs like Dying Light one more.
yeah, no.
Even the devs find more interest in Dying
I
Light
love
1.
that the premise for it. This was, hang on, we have a Dying Light expert.
Yeah.
Let's bring him in. I never finished the second one. It was too boring.
I finished it, and dude, it turns into a shit show at the end. It was bad. I was like, I've never had a game have an ending so bad that my opinion drops like by a full 2 points, because it was rough.
It was the story was just really hard to get behind after a while, which is kind of why I went.
Well,
back
it
to
gets like worse in the second half, where you get into the second area, and then like the last mission, they're like, let's see if we can just dive bomb into the floor, quality wise.
See, I'm the kind of person that like a game or like really any other media has to stick the landing, because the ending is one of the most important parts for me.
Yeah.
A bad ending can tank whether or not I will recommend something to somebody.
Yeah.
Because like I had watched, for example, like I'd watched the beginning of Game of Thrones whenever it was, really taking off, and then I was like, I should get back into it. And that's when they were like getting into season 7, and everybody was like, man, this shit sucks now. I was like, well, I'm not watching the good parts and then having an unfinished arc to this, because it's just gonna get bad.
Yeah, I was getting through Dying Light 2, and I was like, well, this is fine. And I still kind of like the gameplay. There's things one is better. And then that ending happened, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, from what I've seen, like I've sitting around in the living room, I've never seen Jerry open Dying Light 2 to play it. He always opens 1, and
Yeah.
and one day I was like, he asked me, he was like, "Do you want me to buy you Dying Light 2?" And I was like, I don't know if I would actually play it. I never see you play it. And he was like, yeah, nobody really plays it. In fact, actually, Dying Light 1 receives more support and post-launch content.
Yeah, they still put DLC to it. It's funny.
They still put shit to it even after Dying Light 2 came out, because they're like, yeah, Dying Light 2 happened, and that was it.
Yeah, funny thing about this Dying Light, before we get off of this, Dying Light 2, I bought the Ultimate Edition on Steam sale for like $20.
No.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
And because of that, I got this game, The Beast, for free. I bought the Ultimate Edition. They're like, hey, if you bought the Ultimate Edition before this date, you get this game for free. And I'm like, how much is this?
That does not
it's
vote.
I was gonna say that does not inspire much confidence.
So I'm gonna try this game. It's gonna be interesting. I got it for free, basically. I didn't expect to get this.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Very curious about this. The one thing I'm concerned about, that does concern me, this does not show a lot of parkour, and that's what people love about the first game.
Yeah.
This shows mostly combat, and that's concerning to me.
Yeah, there seems to be far too many wilderness sections. I have not seen Dying Light have correct me if I'm wrong. There's not a lot of out in the fields or in the woods content in the first 2 games, are there?
That's usually in the second game. There was at the start, but that's you're going into the city, and then after that you're in the city, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, like I said, this is mostly. Oh, there was kind of a wilderness segment in one of the DLCs for the first game. That's where they introduced driving.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of interiors and
roofs,
wide open like spaces.
Yeah.
Like, in here.
Oh yeah, and this it's mostly just wide open spaces and interiors, and that's kind of what concerns me because what people liked about the first one was the parkour system that was really frenetic, fast, especially once it got fully upgraded. So yeah, I'm interested in that. Next we have mixtape Teenage Nostalgia. I don't have. This is one of the Life is Strange type game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then we have Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree, and my note is another Hades-like, because there's a bunch of them now. Then we have Acts of Blood. I think that's it. Acts of Blood. Do we have a video for that?
We
Don't.
do not off
That's
the top
fine.
of my head. I can
You can pull it up. Acts of Blood is the free-flow combat game, similar to like the Batman Arkham games, made by one guy primarily and apparently his 8 friends. Now, the demo, you can tell that especially because I imagine some of his friends did the voice acting, and it's Indonesians trying to speak English as well as they can. And that's fine, but it does feel good to play. The one issue I have, and I'm willing to forgive it because it's one guy, is the gun. There, you can shoot at guns in this game. Those don't feel good to shoot. Or
Okay, and that kind of, not to deviate this too much, that does track with Indonesian life experience because I did with a lot of my in-laws being Indonesian, the talk of buying a second home in Indonesia because it's so cheap was a very real possibility. Whenever I looked up the gun laws there, it was very underwhelming because you can have handguns only up to certain like 25 ACP caliber unless you're a law enforcement agent.
Yeah.
So like basically little boot guns, little card guns. Like so the for somebody that exclusively lived in Indonesia or other Pan-Asian countries where the gun laws are even more strict than Indonesia.
Yeah.
Only having little pea shooters to play with like would be that's pretty on par.
Yeah.
So the gunplay in this game being unsatisfying would kind of track with
Yeah.
life in Indonesia.
You can use the guns to hit people and then do like, Batman executions, and it's like a John Wick thing for a quick second. So it's fun.
No, hell
Some
yeah.
equilibrium stuff going in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just something that, like, I played the demo, loved it. It's definitely something I'm going to keep an eye on. The next game, we have Scott Pilgrim EX. As far as Scott Pilgrim goes, I only liked the original game. I don't like Scott Pilgrim as a franchise.
Yeah.
I'm a weird person for that because I like video games a lot, and then Scott Pilgrim is something that just does not appeal to me at all.
Interesting.
I treat it as like having keys jingled in front of my face. That's how I feel about that. Actually, the First Descendant still going. Good for them. Next, they showed Scum. This is a Rust ripoff if you want that. And then we have Mind's Eye. My note is the executives left. This is a scam. This has kind of been memed to death. This game is a failure. I feel bad for the voice actor and the guy who plays this character because he was the same guy who played Lincoln Clay in Mafia 3, and he's never been part of a game that people really, really like. And like it's always these like kind of failures and shit.
Damn.
And it's like he's not the reason these are bad. He's stuck with this shit.
I really can't comprehend what I'm looking at right now. Is this like a Detroit type of or a cyberpunk?
Kind of. It's more Detroit, but I
don't like some of these facial animations.
Yeah.
These are
So
That
usually
last one
exaggerated.
was not great.
I'm
Yeah.
here's the thing. This was supposed to advertise their like the company Build a Rocket Boy is original idea was to make a platform game type thing like Roblox and Fortnite is now. And this was supposed to be the thing that showcases their like platform. It's not very good. And so everyone that was like big on this left. This thing was never going to be good. And they have Hitman because IO Interactive published this. A lot of their advertising during the not E3 season was around Mind's Eye, and so this was supposed to be a big deal for them this year because it had one of the big people from Rockstar, and people seem to get confused on this. They think this is the Hauser brothers. It's not. It's Leslie Benson. I had to make sure to check that. But yeah, Mindseye is an embarrassment, and it'll probably go down as the worst game of the year. Next, we had Hitman. Mads Mikkelsen is an elusive agent, for those who want that. He's basically playing his character from the James Bond film he was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit you in the nutsack guy.
Yes. I don't think it's the same character name, but it's basically that same character.
That same villain archetype.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we have Lego Party, which is Mario Party for people with no Nintendo.
That is a growing market after
That is,
the price
yeah.
release of the Switch 2.
It is.
I actually like even what am I trying to say here? It is a market because there have been a significant number of very small team
Party games
like that,
Yeah.
like Pummel Party and stuff that are coming out that are trying to tap into that Mario Party feeling for
Yeah.
non-Nintendo IPs. So that I could see this doing well.
This one has like mini games. It's not just like kind of beat 'em up Rumble House. This is like mini games. So it could be something. Then we have Wildgate. This is a team extraction shooter. I don't care. Blighted. As long as it's not a roguelike, I'm interested. This is made by the Guacamelee people.
Right.
And this actually looks pretty good. It is not a roguelike, by the way. I looked into
Okay.
it. It looks good. And I'm going to keep an eye on it. Next, we have Ill. This is the third thing published by the people who made Atomic Heart.
Yeah. Mundfish.
Yeah, Mundfish. I don't know if this game's real.
What the fuck does that mean?
Segments of this just don't look real to me
Yeah.
in the gameplay. Some of it does, others don't, and that concerns me.
Yeah.
Because like I like the visuals, they look great, they look fantastic, but then I see like some of the gameplay and the way like you see how the revolver kind of like sways as he moves. You don't
Yeah.
see that in a game. Usually the gun is pretty stiff.
I would argue that there's a handful of games that do that exaggerated sway. For example, now I have to pull it up in my library. Hold on, let me open Steam. What's that extraction shooter? Three team extraction shooter, 1860 something.
Wild Hunt?
Hunt Showdown.
Hunt Showdown.
Yeah, Hunt Showdown definitely has more of that loose gunplay to it. That like, it's very deceiving and it's meant to throw you off in stressful situations, which would go well in this. It looks like there's a lot of like stress building. Hunt Showdown and a couple of other. I can't think of. There's another one on the tip of my tongue, where they've basically taken the typical gun direction. Of when you're shifting the camera and exaggerated it so that your hitbox is always still the same, but your gun looks like it's going wildly off course, and it builds stress.
Okay. Maybe it's real. It's just like enough of it's just kind of, it looks too good.
It does look unusually fantastic.
Yeah. Especially for like a first time dev. That's really weird.
And it would not be the first time that somebody put pre-rendered gameplay into a trailer and claimed this is the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next we have Mecha Break. This is a live service Armored Core type game. And then after that they showed, I'm going to butcher this, Infinitesimal, the one game with frame drops from Epic. The trailer had frame drops. And I was like, wonderful. I'm glad we got the trailer with frame drops in it out of the way.
No shit. Wait, it actually had frame drops.
It had
in, like,
frame drops in it.
Oh, yeah.
We just watched as a group a YouTube video where somebody gaslit a crowd by adding in frame drops into a fucking E3 conference. Like
That's why people think that's real sometimes. That's why it's like, yeah, no, that happens sometimes. It's fucking weird.
Crazy.
Then we had, Resident Evil 9 will be shown when it's ready.
Big ass asterisk.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. This was an actual thing. They had a little segment where they were doing like a Resident Evil cell, and then they got the director for Resident Evil 9. He's like, "Hey, it's not ready to be shown yet. We'll show it when it's ready." I hope everyone's excited, and then bye.
No.
And then we'll get back to that. They showed Street Fighter 6 new season with new characters. With what's that wrestler? Is it Kenny Omega?
What?
Xavier Woods?
Maybe. I would have to look it up.
Wait, are you talking about like a past wrestler, somebody who's currently
I think it's
professional?
I think it's a current professional wrestler.
Is it a current professional wrestler who is in the video game space regularly?
I don't pay attention to wrestling. You can just look up Street Fighter 6 new season, because he dressed as all the characters in it, including the female characters, or maybe a YouTube video.
Yeah. Let me do that. No, not news. Videos. Character reveal trailer.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, I don't know this gentleman. I've
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega. I had it
Kenny
right.
Omega. Yeah, you had it right. Okay, because I was thinking Xavier Woods, because he's also a popular YouTuber streamer, but also professional wrestler. So he's also usually involved in the fighting game community. So
Okay. Yeah, no, I couldn't tell you. I don't pay attention to the wrestling side. So after that, we had Last Flag. My note is TF2 Capture the Flag. It looks very TF2 inspired. But it's around capturing a flag instead of the other stuff. It looks interesting. I don't know if it has the space to live. I hope it does, but
yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, if it gives somewhere new for the TF2 crowd to migrate to, just because they have seen regular support but no actual major overhauls in the last like decade and a half.
Yeah,
They'll have to do better than Overwatch did. I'll just say that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because people that really liked TF2 saw Overwatch, and then they were like, "We'll stay over here."
Yeah.
Next
we have Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. This is a Chinese Souls-like game. I'm actually interested in this because this is like the second major Chinese game coming out over in the West, because China is starting to get out all of their projects that have been invested in. And they're starting to be a thing. And last year we had Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah.
And this is its own thing.
Fantastic, by the way.
It was. I loved it. Fucking
every moment of it.
Yeah. The boss fights are awesome. And it's like, how many boss? Like 100? It's like 100 different bosses. It's so
Stop
many.
counting.
Yeah.
No.
Like
but
different boss fights too. It wasn't just But yeah, so this is the second thing. It's another Souls-like game. But I like them, so yeah. Okay, now I had to be careful with this because it's almost the same name. Wu-Tang, Rise of the Deceiver.
Baby!
My note was, why now? But it has Ghostface Killa is supposed to be the guy that gives you missions and shit. So I don't know what the story is here, but
Let's fucking go.
and it didn't really show gameplay. So we'll see. It could be like that Kanye West game that he announced years ago.
Good Lord.
I don't know if you remember that.
On a scale of 50 Cent blood onto the sand, 50 Cent blood on the sand to the Soulja game. Where are your expectations?
My expectations are the original Wu-Tang Clan game. There was a Wu-Tang Clan game that
I remember. Yeah. Do you think that they're gonna keep to that original, or do you think that they're going to?
Are they gonna recapture that lightning in a bottle?
I think it'll have a similar energy, but they'll try to kind of expand what it was, because it was like this like weird beat 'em up that was in room to room.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
very
yeah.
odd. This looks like it's much more like they hired like an indie team, and
Okay.
it looks like it's a beat 'em up, and it looks like it's a bit better put together.
Yeah.
honestly.
Like a 3D Shaq Fu, if you will.
Yes. Maybe Shaq Fu 2. Have you played that?
I didn't know that there was a second one.
Yeah, it's a side-scroll beat 'em up. That's bad.
Oh, really?
It's pretty bad.
Wait, so they took away the... Oh, never
It's
mind.
not a fighting game.
We'll do a whole... I would come on for a whole video if you just wanted to play the Shaq Fu.
We
2
could.
game.
We could.
Jesus Christ.
That'd be so fucking fun.
And let's see. Guild Wars 2. This is still a thing, I guess. Guild Wars 2 has been around for like over a decade, so good for them.
It's so strange to me to see like a public announcement that there's a Guild Wars 2 update, because it feels like It feels like if somebody would come up to me and be like, "Oh, hey, your 1996 Dodge Grand Caravan you drove in high school, there's a recall on one of the parts." Just you know.
Well, it's like I gotta, like seeing the Guild Wars 2, because that's another thing that I did see that organically. That was on my front page. Seeing the Guild Wars 2 update announcement on my feed felt a lot like in that same day I opened up my Steam library and Dungeon Defenders has handed off its support to its interns, so they can just do whatever they want with it now.
Okay.
I saw that they did a major overhaul update the other day. With a grand total of, I think, 12 concurrent players on Steam. And seeing this Guild Wars 2 update brought me that same little like heart flutter joy of like,
You're like,
oh, they're still doing it.
Let's see. Then we had Into the Unwell. This is like I wrote another roguelike. This is actually inspired by the Cuphead animation style.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's like a Hades roguelike, but it's a roguelike. It's kind of a 3D thing. It looked interesting. Then we had Splitgate 2. Splitgate 2 added a battle royale, and also the director of the game kind of made an ass of himself on stage. I didn't download the video for that, but he was like, "Hey, yo, we're cooler and better than Call of Duty and all these other things in Fortnite. We're not gay." We're dope, guys.
I would give anything for him to verbatim. Is that what he verbatim said? We're not gay. We're not stupid fucking gay.
No.
That would be.
It came off like that. Like you could imagine him part of like, no, don't say the gay part. Just say
like he was running the pitch by
the spirit. The spirit of it was there.
The spirit is there, and I'm like, that's great, man. I can't wait for this to like. Splitgate actually had a community. And then they killed off the game to work on Splitgate 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Splitgate 2 has a third of that community now.
The Overwatch 2 effect. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like if you have to verbalize the fact that you are better than
everyone
Call
else
of Duty, you probably aren't. That's one of those things people can just figure out pretty easy.
Yeah. So then we have Stranger Than Heaven. This was something I really, really liked, and this is made by Ryuga Gotoku, or RGG for everyone easy. This is what was called Project Century, and this is made by the Yakuza / Like a Dragon devs, and so it's this like 3D beat 'em up in a city. It's probably going to be really good. It looks like, based on the trailers, that it's going to be taking place over like a long period of time. Like you're going to be going throughout Japan throughout the years and decades, it seems like. Because some trailers are like in 1920s and some are 1940s. This, I think, is 1943 or something. And
1943, where nothing important was happening in Japan.
yeah, there you go. So, and these guys have been making games that I love for a very long time. If you want beat 'em ups and stuff, I highly recommend their games. They are long games. You are going to get a lot out of them. And this is probably the most brutal they've made a game, because they have a little thing where they're like, in the Yakuza games, the characters never kill anybody, even though
they don't use guns, they don't like
they just use Ryukens and shit.
Yeah, even though Majima uses a knife regularly, he doesn't kill anyone.
He'll like hurl a motorcycle at somebody's forehead, but he didn't kill him.
Yeah, there's a segment where you play as Kiryu with a gun in one of the games and shoot people directly off of motorcycles. He's not killing them, guys. He's not killing. He shoots a gas tank on a helicopter that explodes. They're not dead. They lived. But no, this is probably going to be really good. These guys have a great track record, and I'm looking forward to it. So that was cool. And then we said we would get back to it, Resident Evil Requiem. I guess they're ready now to show Resident Evil 9.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening, and now it's here. they showed a little bit of gameplay in the Capcom Direct that they did since this has come out. This doesn't show a whole lot of gameplay.
I would kill if the whole trailer just takes place in this office and nothing spooky ever happens.
I'm one of the weirdos who's played a lot of Resident Evil, and I know a lot of the lore. This is, what's her name? Something Ashcroft, which was actually a character in Resident Evil Outbreak. The daughter of one of the characters in Resident Evil Outbreak.
Yeah.
Which was a game that was a bit too early for its time because the type of thing it is probably would be popular today. It was like an online co-op horror game for like the PS1 or PS2.
I know what you're talking about now that you say that.
And so it was way too early for its time. People never played it. We'll get to the later in the trailer. I don't know if you guys seen it or I don't know if Ross
have not seen this before,
okay.
But I would wager while we wait for the trailer to advance, I would wager to say that I'm even more of a weirdo in Resident Evil than you. Let me backpedal. More of a normie.
Yeah.
Because the only Resident Evil that I have played extensively where I enjoyed it and replayed it was not 4 and not 2, but 5.
Okay.
5 was like my favorite of the franchise.
It is the best co-op experience in the Resident Evil.
Absolutely,
I don't blame you. I know a lot of people who just like, I play this with my friend. I play this with my girlfriend. I play this because it's a great co-op experience.
I played a lot of 2 when I was very young. So much so that my mom saw me playing it and took the disc away, but she didn't know that it was a 2-disc game.
Oh no!
So then I only had one of the stories.
Oh wow!
That I could play through, but I kept playing through it on rookie mode so many times because I was a little child.
Yeah,
but 2 and 5 are my exposure to the series. I've tried to play 4 and I haven't finished it.
Okay,
but it's still on my list to go back to. And also, contrary to popular belief, I liked 6.
Okay.
I will die on that sword. 6 was okay.
I like mercenary modes in 6. That really saved it for me.
This is the same guy who thinks that Fable 3 was one of the best ones. So like, take
Fable 3 is the
opinion.
best one that I've played because it's the only one I've played.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
See, exactly. Like, that's the big asterisk there. Yeah. I thought Fable 3 was good. I have no frame of reference for what Fable is supposed to be.
Okay. And this was probably the big reveal for this trailer. Right here.
Ooh.
Raccoon City. Return to Raccoon City.
Yeah.
It's been 30 years since it's been nuked. Well, actually, they don't say it's a nuke anymore. It's a thermobaric bomb, I think is what they've changed it to. Which I don't know the difference between nuclear and baric, but fuck it. I don't think it really would matter. But the big thing that they've also announced is that, one, Leon... They are having 2 playable characters in this. One is from the franchise, has been in the franchise before. Everyone's like, oh, it's Leon. And Capcom's like, it's not Leon. Leon's too cool and too unafraid of things, which is true because he's been after 2.
After 2, after 4, like...
Well, 4, he's a suave guy in 4.
Yeah,
after
he's
2...
too cool. Whereas, like, 2, he's not afraid of anything after that.
Yeah, 2, he's the rookie at Raccoon PD. I do miss the original 2's like background story where he like went to Raccoon City early to get his job because it's his first day.
Yeah.
But the previous night he got drunk after his fiance left him.
Yeah.
Left that out of the new remake, and it's like, come on, have him be just completely like, oh god, fuck.
Yeah. Like the first game, I have like vivid childhood memories in Resident Evil 2 and the original of waking up and having no idea of what an isometric multi-second person view game was.
Yeah.
And dying multiple times to the zombies in the opening scene because I thought it was a cutscene.
Oh.
And then figuring out that, I just have to do like the guesswork on aiming. Like it was the jankiest thing I've ever experienced when I was like 6. But it was cool as all hell. And yeah, Leon after that, I too, if I survived that with such brutal efficiency as Leon did in my many playthroughs, I would fear nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
After the only thing that we know, at least as far as I know, important with this game is that this game will allow you to choose either a first-person point of view or a third-person point of view.
Okay.
So you're going to be able to pick between third and first person. I'm curious what that'll change.
I'm interested to see what the player split on that's going to be.
Yeah, I really am, because I feel like first person's better for like horror.
Yeah.
Third person's better for like action.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this was the big reveal. I don't know why they needed to do a fake out on us earlier, like 20 minutes before. They were like, "Hey, it's coming out."
Yeah. Hey, we'll show it when it's ready. By the way, fuckers, now it's ready.
Yeah. So that was.
Do you think maybe it was like a technical difficulty?
No, I think it was just planned, and they wanted to do this for some reason. It was a choice.
I think it would have been so hilarious if they would have taken it one step further, and just had like the release date like to be announced.
Yeah.
Right now, you can. It's already in the store. Like,
yeah. I do think that. I mean, it's effective, right? We're talking about it.
Yeah.
Like that's so. Have they hinted at all about who the male protagonist is going to be?
They did never say. They haven't even said it's male. They just said there's a second protagonist, and it's a person from the previous games. It could be Jill. It could be Claire. It could be
Ada.
It could be fucking Bear. It could be Ada.
Like,
I think it's gonna be Wesker.
I wanted to. There is the Wesker's son.
Yeah, Wesker's son is
I didn't think of
total global saturation.
Yeah. But
he wasn't talking about the G-virus. He was talking about Wesker.
I hope it's Barry. I love Barry. We need more games with Barry in it.
Yeah. I swear to God, if they say like, oh, it's not Leon because he's too cool and he's not scared of anything, and they're like, Chris Redfield, the human boulder crusher himself.
That man has a different body shape every game he's in. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if they twinkify my Chris Redfield.
Oh no.
Oh,
That's why he's scared.
Actually, wait, what's the over-under that Sheva's in this?
Maybe. Well, Sheva is part of the African segment of whatever organization Chris is part of now.
Yeah, but we also don't know the time frame on this.
That's true. She could be a higher up because there was a lot of characters introduced in both of the Revelations games.
Yep.
So it could be anyone, really. I think it's gonna be here's my bet. They would probably want someone who would be afraid. I can't remember the name of the girl that you kind of rescue in the first game. I think it's her. I think it's Rebecca. Either Rebecca. I think it's the character you play with as Wesker's son.
Oh, shit. Oh, it's been forever. I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
her.
Okay.
Maybe Barry, because Barry is willing to do stuff, but he's still afraid of shit. True. He's not a cool guy. He's an old grandpa.
Yeah.
He would be like 60 in this game. Leon's going to be 50 in this game if he was in the game. But yeah, so this to me was like, if it wasn't for that weird fake out, I think this would have been the biggest reveal of the thing. Because it kind of like just made everyone be like, okay. And that is Summer Games Fest. The next thing is the Xbox Game Showcase. And I was right when we all watched that together. This was the best showcase. Even though PlayStation had a bunch of stuff that I like, and it was kind of made for people like me, I feel this was a lot better of a showcase.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
First thing up was the Outer Worlds 2. And I'm glad you're here, Ross, because I want to ask you a question. Yay. We both kind of discussed what we thought of the original, which is a game that we played through once, and then that is about it. And we might get this when it's a little cheaper. Mm-hmm. Do you think this is a good idea to put a game like this as $80?
If you're as this being $80, absolutely not. I think that it's good. I think like if the first one would have come out and I would have had confirmation right ahead of time that I would have as much fun as I did with it, I would not have paid $80 for it. I don't believe that I did even full price pay for it. I think that I got it on sale a few months after that it came out. But my full take on The Outer Worlds 1 was that I think we both agreed unanimously that we had a ton of fun in it. It gave us everything that it had in the first playthrough. So no matter how slow you took that first playthrough, I think I was at like, my first playthrough of it was so slow and meticulous and tedious that I think I had 90 something hours in the first playthrough doing absolutely 100% of everything that you could do, which might have been part of its downfall that gave it no replayability for me, because as soon as I was done with it, I got an hour into my attempted second playthrough, and then I uninstalled the game because I kind of told myself I've done everything that there is to do. I've tried every routed alternative decision that you got was kind of unanimously, do you want to be the good guy or the bad guy? Do you want to have this, not even do you want to be good or bad, do you want to keep this companion around?
Yes.
I chose to keep everybody around. I got the good ending. The only actual story outcome that changes between you making alternative decisions is whether or not you are friends and get weird ambient dialogue from NPCs around you.
Yeah.
And when you're done with the game, it is done. It's as hallway, weirdly as it's as hallway as it gets.
Yeah.
For something that claims to be so open world. And I still had a ton of fun of it, but no, this is not worth $80. It is 100% worth it if it ever goes on sale.
Okay. I think you've hit everything I kind of wanted to say. And that's why I definitely wanted to talk to you about this, because this is their first game as $80, which I feel is weird, because we'll talk about the other game I think should be their first game as $80 because it's a better one to do. So the second game that they showed was High on Life 2. I am genuinely interested in this because I like the first game, because it's like a weirdly solid first-person shooter, but I could only play it an hour at a time because the writing was a Rick and Morty show.
Yeah, it was a lot to digest.
Yeah, and so this is going to be the original game. I don't know if you know, was the cartel is kidnapping humans and using them as like a drug, an illegal substance. This game, if you pay attention to the end title screen, is basically humans are now being taken by corporations and being turned into pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
So it's still the drug angle. I guess it would be like it's heroin.
Oh, the opioid industry?
Opioid, yes. So like the opioid industry.
So they're going from this being like an illicit black market thing to it mainstreaming big pharma.
Yeah. And the big thing that I'm seeing in this that I really like is, even though this isn't a gameplay trailer, they're showing different guns. Yeah. Because one of the issues with the original was there was like 5.
Yes.
They needed more than just 5. They needed like maybe 10. Give me 10 solid choices, and that's good.
And I wish that I would have taken your approach with playing the first game, because I did play and finish the first game, but I played it in such long sessions and like
you probably hated it.
Well, I played it in like 5-6 hour sessions, and I had a good time the entire way through. But if you ask me now anything about that original game, I can hit the main story points, but because I played in such long sessions and didn't digest the really dense writing, I remember almost nothing about it. I could not tell you what the first 4 hours of my 6 hour session were.
Yeah, there's so much said in each one. Yeah. And it's like, it kind of exhausted me after each segment. So, next we have Resonance: A Plague Tale Legacy. This was, I guess it's a spin-off of the Plague Tale series. I never played these games, so I have no reference point on them. I know it's about rats. Yeah,
if I remember right, it is a pretty big tonal departure, because the first games were very slow story games, or not. There were fast portions to it, but it was mainly very small scale. Yeah. From the trailer that we saw during the Xbox showcase, it has increased exponentially in scale and has become more like really cool and actiony. Weirdly enough.
Next, the Xbox showed off the Xbox Ally, Xbox's handheld, and it can play Steam, which means it can play PlayStation games. Yeah, it can play some PlayStation games.
The handheld market is coming back, baby. Let's
It
go,
is.
Sega Game Gear, baby.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, also, here is our champion of the most confusing title of the entire thing, the entire Naughty 3 experience. The Blood of Dawnwalker.
I'm never
Yes.
gonna get over that title.
Yeah. Everyone gets this as Blood of the Dawnwalker. That is not it. It's the Blood of Dawnwalker. And they actually put out a 20-minute showcase that kind of goes over a lot of the systems and stuff and sort of explains how the day-night cycle will be. It will not be like a hard time thing. It'll be like you do a mission, and then once you do certain amount of missions, you'll be moved to the nighttime. And in the daytime, you have your human stuff, and the way you get health back is by just eating food. But at nighttime, you're a vampire, so you can get food from everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can choose to suck out enough blood to just knock someone out or kill them, a la kind of like Masquerade the Bloodlines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have a very For Honor-esque fighting system where it's like you have to angle the sword.
Oh, the parry system?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting. The one thing I don't like about this is I feel the camera's just a little too close.
It's a little Witcher 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would like it to just be pulled back a bit in like every case, because even outside of the combat, because it pulls out a little bit for the combat, but not enough. But even when you're not in combat, it's still really close to you.
Yeah, I do see something interesting that they're doing in this gameplay with NPCs to try and combat that camera issue. Where
Yeah, it's just one at a time.
well, not just one at a time. I'm seeing NPCs as soon as they move off of your FOV, they are seemingly routed to move back into it.
Yes.
which is making them move a little unnaturally.
Yeah. Oh, also, they just showed a little spell. You can make people's blood boil inside of them. So you have a little magic that you can do. I think like towards the halfway point, they do show like the nighttime, and they show that you'll be doing like more platforming and stuff in the nighttime because you have more mobility choices. Every area is supposed to have multiple ways to approach, because if you see at the top corner, you have a time limit to finishing the stuff you want to finish.
Yeah.
And they're giving multiple ways. You can just storm the castle at the start, but that would be really hard. You can do multiple quest lines to either get it in a more subtle way or get it weaken the stronghold itself. And it looks really good. I recommend watching this gameplay showcase because outside of the camera, it's about everything I want from this game. It kind of smoothed a lot of fears I had about the game. I don't think this will be like the perfect non-clunky combat, but I do think it'll be more than what people expected.
Yeah. It definitely has me excited for it. This is a game that I know a good couple of our friends in our friend group were excited for, and this is what really caught my attention.
And there will be like bosses and other stuff, and
Yeah.
obviously there will be different things you can do in different times of the day. And I imagine there's going to be some puzzles where you'll have to do something in the day and then something in the night.
No.
And yeah, this is a fantastic showcase. I'm glad that they put this out before we recorded this, because this is something that when I watched it, I was like, oh, perfect. We now know what this game looks like.
Yeah. I'm the kind of guy that I enjoy playing through a game multiple times to see the different things that you can do and the different routes you can take. So I'm hoping that the way that they did this is well implemented.
Yeah. I hope that the time limit doesn't become a hindrance, but a help when it comes to that replayability thing.
Yeah, I can definitely see adding a time limitation onto a game with a bunch of side quests kind of enhancing that replayability, because you only have so much time to do so many side quests unless you have a previous playthrough's knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because not only will that add to, like, well, I can play through it multiple times to do this side quest line and this side quest line on different playthroughs, but also you can then do multiple playthroughs where you're like, okay, so what is the ending if I only do these side quests? Now that I know how to do all of them, what if I do all of them with brutal efficiency and finish all of them? So that's interesting. I'm not a big fan of time limits usually, but whenever it is to increase game time like this, I can see it as an enhancement rather than a stressor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's made to just kind of be like, hey, maybe you did this route this time, do a different route. And that, I think, is the best way to handle this.
Also, this vampire combat looks amazing.
It does look good.
Having the closer camera for this vampire combat kind of adds to that feeling.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely recommend just in anyone's free time just checking out this gameplay trailer, or gameplay showcase or overview, whatever it's called. So after that, we have Super Meat Boy 3D. My note is 3D stress simulator.
Yeah, for sure.
Looks like they're making a 3D. Sadly, I found out Edmund McMillan is not being part of this. He's the guy who did Binding of Isaac, because this was made by two people, him and I forgot the other guy's name. He's the one that's been handling Super Meat Boy recently.
Yeah.
I still think this will be solid. I don't think it'll be as hard as the original, the 2D. Because
that was the main thing we were talking about when we watched it live, was that the struggle to 3D would kind of hinder the difficulty curve.
Yes. After that, we have Ninja Gaiden 4. This was another game that I had a lot of worries about when I first saw the first gameplay trailer, because it only showed sword combat. This shows you have like this weird drill spear out of Gurren Lagann. It reminds me of Gurren Lagann a lot.
Well, from what I've seen from some of the combat, despite it being like lower numbers of enemies, the movement and it kind of reminds me of Dynasty Warriors a little bit.
Well, it is being made partially by Platinum Games.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, this is Platinum Games and Ninja Studio or Ninja. No, it's not Ninja Theory. What's the Japan studio? Is that Ninja Theory or Ninja? Because Ninja Theory was the one that made DMC Devil May Cry.
Right. Yeah.
And there's Koei Tecmo's I think it's just Team Ninja. Team Ninja.
There we go. Yeah. There's too many ninjas. Too many ninjas in the game industry.
They both made action games. It doesn't help me. This is a trailer that definitely smoothed over some fears I had, because, like I said, the first trailer was just, and I'm seeing like a staff and like a hammer and some other stuff. This looks like it's a lot more than just the sword, and that's good, because I don't want it to be another Ninja Gaiden 3 situation. Remember the original release of 3?
Yeah. That kind of just skeleton of what would later become a good game.
Yes. Yeah. And so this is good. All right. Next, we have Indiana Jones DLC. I guess this game did good. I didn't hear anything about it.
Me neither. Until we saw it on the showcase, I thought that this was like a new original IP.
Yeah. Then we have Beast of Reincarnation. This is made by the Pokemon devs. This is like a Souls-like that looks like it's what's that Studio Ghibli film? Princess Mononoke, but like Souls-like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's a lot of Souls-likes. There's a lot of them. I want more character action games. I like Souls-likes, but we need more character action games.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know why I had this as talking about. There's not a lot to say here. Oh well. We'll skip that out. Okay, this one is kind of a big deal. Clockwork Revolution. This was, since there was no showcase for it afterwards, this was probably my favorite trailer of the entire show. Mm-hmm. This is made by In Exile, and they made the Wasteland games. Mm-hmm. These guys know what they're doing writing-wise, and I kind of looked up some of the... they were talking about how this game would function online in, like, articles. those articles, for example, you're not going to be picking up guns off of each enemy. You're going to have a set list of guns, but you can upgrade them in any way you want. And it seems like they're trying to pull off what BioShock Infinite tried to do all those years ago, where you have that like time thing, and each decision you make, or you can change the course of time to change the world in specific areas and get like a different universe and stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of like the kind of bastardized version of what Infinite became, because I would recommend looking up the what's the word I'm looking for? The development story for that. It was supposed to be so much more ambitious than what it was.
Yeah, this kind of weird parallel universe butterfly effect.
Yes.
That I'm hoping that this game can pull off, because from what it seems, they're setting they're setting their goals out in stone right now, and not letting the Infinite BioShock Infinite effect hit them. This game's gonna happen with everything they intend in it, or not.
Yes, pretty much. This is also written by some of the people who worked on Arcanum, so it's gonna be good. These are some well-deserved devs, and also this is an interesting thing because it's very similar to like BioWare, because it's a dev that mostly made like CRPGs for a very long time, and then this is like their push into not CRPG, but a just like first-person RPG, maybe not like Bethesda, but something a bit more than just over the top.
Yeah.
The one concern I do have is this: you have a voiced character. With a voiced character in any RPG, it limits so much.
Yeah, by a very wide margin.
You end up having so many more voiced lines, because that ends up like doubling your entire script for the entire game, essentially. And that's the thing that kind of concerns me a little bit.
Yeah, and also as far as like player retention, that can like really detach someone that's interested in the RPG genre, that normally when you have unvoiced characters, that kind of attaches you more than into
insert your voice or insert what you think they sound like.
Whereas like I can't remember the last time that I played a RPG with a voiced main character where I actually felt fully immersed. Like even Cyberpunk, I would have preferred greatly if they would have left that unvoiced.
Yeah, I think it would have been fine if that was unvoiced.
Yeah, it's kind of like the difference between like Fallout 3 in New Vegas and Fallout 4. It's like there was such a huge divide in like dialogue options between those games.
Yeah. Oh, also, I just want to make a point. A lot of people haven't said this, but the powers remind me of Singularity. A lot of people bring up BioShock, and I understand why Singularity isn't as popular, but I really like the time powers that they've shown off.
Yeah.
This was, I think, the longest trailer that wasn't like just a straight up gameplay showcase.
Yeah.
In this entire thing, because this is like a 5-minute trailer.
Yeah. I remember this taking up this was a good portion of my memory of watching this showcase with y'all, because it was just so long, and after that we were talking about it for so long.
Yeah, there was a lot that they needed to kind of cover to show off exactly what's going on with this game.
Yeah, what are we at 3 minutes in, and this is the first time that they show any kind of showcase of like the time. Like they talk about timelines, but this is the first time they show time like travel in the actual gameplay itself.
Yeah. And to be fair, they do cover their ground. Like, it's not like they waste any time within the trailer itself. They show everything they need to show, and I think this is a good trailer despite it being so long. It could have been so much worse. And yeah, this was definitely my trailer of the showcase, because I'm not gonna, like, despite we just kind of talked about the Blood of Dawnwalker, and but that 20-minute overview happened like a couple of days ago. Clockwork Revolution. Definitely excited for that. That was probably the thing I liked the most. Then we had Grounded 2. I'm glad that was successful. I'm glad the people that like Grounded are getting another one. I had friends that were like, I wish it was just an expansion, but
Yeah.
kind of whatever. Then we have Chronos, The New Dawn by Bloober. And my question was, can Bloober deliver a new IP? Because we sort of discussed their writing chops previously when we were talking about Silent Hill. Can they avoid some of their pitfalls in writing? Some of their pitfalls in writing? Are you suicidal? Maybe you should just kill yourself.
Yeah. I just from watching this trailer live, a lot of it was just like, is this a new Dead Space?
Yes.
And then also, I found personally like everything that was happening in the background was far more interesting than whatever was happening in the foreground. Seeing like the weird X-rays.
Yeah,
I think we were talking about the idea of like what even are the enemies in this game. We were talking about for the whole span of the trailer.
Yeah.
So I am interested. I'm curious if it's just going to be Silent Hill 2 remake combat, which I wouldn't blame them for doing that. I mean, they're also making a Silent Hill remake now, which is funny to me, doing the second one first, but I know why they did that. 2 is more popular. But yeah, I'm interested to see if Bloober Team can make a new IP.
Yeah.
Can they shift from being the developers who make walking sim horror?
Yeah.
And do their own thing. Okay. After that, we had Elder Scrolls Online. I don't play MMOs, but
Pets are announced or whatever.
yeah, they had pets.
Yeah.
After that, we have Aphelion. This was that walking sim survival by Don't Nod. I think it's a survival. I'm not sure. This was the game we weren't sure if it was just a walking sim or a little bit more.
Yeah.
It was really confusing. After that, we had There Are No Ghosts at the Grand. This was that musical house flipper game with the ghost segments, and it looks interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious if they're singing in the game. I want them to.
Mm-hmm.
That would be perfect. If they don't, you're ripping me off. You can't do that in the trailer.
You cannot trailer me with a musical number and then deny me the joy of musical theater in my horror game.
And then we have Age of Mythology DLC, and an RTS that I don't play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mudang, 2 Hearts. And my note was some of Resident Evil 6 was cool. This was that Korean like zombie game.
Right, yeah.
We were like, what is this? Is this like Resident Evil or is this Call of Duty? I think we thought it was Call of Duty because we thought it was supposed to be in Korea.
Yeah.
I remember sitting there for that trailer and like RE6 got thrown around and I was like, oh god, that's kind of cool. And everybody's like, it's gonna be like RE6, and I was like, yeah, RE6 bad. He not look like a weirdo.
I don't hate it, but RE6 to me is still like a downgrade in my opinion.
Resident Evil 6 was not a Resident Evil game. It was a really good game that shouldn't have been in the Resident Evil series.
Yeah. I agree with that. After that, we have Planet of Lana 2. Guess the first one did good because this one's getting a sequel. Then we had Fallout 76. They've introduced fishing.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Solo leveling Arise. And my note is, this was like a multiplayer game, and my note was a bit of a misnomer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had a Nemo. And my note is, look out, Pokemon's lawyers are behind you, because this was that game that looked like Pal World.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We had Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. This looks cool. It's Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. It's probably going to be good. I think it's just, is it coming out or it's already come out? I don't know.
Not sure right now.
Then we had Fate's In. This was the, I called it Xbox's chosen indie game because they always pick an indie game that like they want to represent them. This was that made by the devs who made Spirit Sailors or Spiritfarer.
Yeah,
they made this. It looks interesting. I don't have a lot to say about it. Then they had the trailer for Gears of War Reloaded. I think it should have been the first 3 games, honestly.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's just the first, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Persona 4 Revival. This should have waited. This looked way too early to show.
Yeah.
They should have waited because that town looks like early Unreal 5 footage because it is. And it's like, you guys should have waited like a few months at least before you had more to show.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll look better when it comes to release, but yeah, this was way too early. Then we had Sea of Thieves.
This still exists?
It still exists. It's Rare's most popular game.
How?
I don't know.
I mean,
there's still people paying money
Yeah.
for cosmetics, man.
the whole point of Sea of Thieves is that it's fun when a ton of people are playing, and the last time I logged on, like, I didn't see anybody for like 4 hours.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, that's like they're trying to get people, man.
Yeah.
They've got an advertisement in the Xbox showcase now.
Okay, and then
There
we
might be up to like 20 concurrent players on this whatever server you're on.
maybe.
God damn.
And then we have Invincible Versus. Shame it came out after Marvel. Because
Yeah.
it really like took the wind out of this thing. I feel bad for them because I'm sure they were like, all right, we'll be the big major fighting game people are talking about. And then Marvel
Nope.
comes out, and I know the devs were like,
Yeah.
So I think the only thing that could have really hurt them worse is if they came out with another like Budokai game or something.
yeah.
If this would have been like, this is already like not far off from being like the year of fighting games. It is unfortunate that like they were the last in the showcase, because I could have seen if this release order would have been different, right? If they would have shown off like an Invincible game
Before.
first,
Yeah.
like Sony would have still crammed Marvel Tokon into Evo, but there would have been more hype behind in Invincible.
Yes.
But to say that there's any interest happening in Invincible right now, it's in a very niche comic book crowd.
Yeah.
It's very niche comic books. I imagine some FGC people, because this is actually made by some of the people who made the previous Killer Instinct
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, it's,
So
it's
some
an absolute
talent
shame because
behind
it
it.
looks
Yeah.
fantastic. It looks fantastic. It's got a bunch of really good people behind it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Like you need a specific kind of medium to have people that are going to be super interested in a fighting game based on the characters. You
Yeah.
know.
I think this is better than the other option, which people were like, maybe an open world Invincible game.
No.
And it's
Oh my
like,
God.
thank God they didn't do
Another like infamous but invincible.
that. Yeah.
Invincible.
The one issue I have with this is like, do they have enough characters for Invincible? I don't know if you guys have seen the show or read the comics. I imagine you haven't read
I guess
the
it
comics.
Well,
depends
most of
on
them-
how like deep they're going in.
Yeah.
or,
Most of the
like-
characters that I would have wanted to see in an open world game died off in episode 1.
Yeah.
This,
Well, I mean,
But-
in a fighting game.
yeah.
Also, they could just grab Spawn, because Spawn is part of Image Comics, not
Yeah.
DC.
Yeah, they could.
Well, Spawn is Dark Horse, isn't he?
No, he's Image.
Oh yeah.
Because
no.
he originally
right.
he was in the during the Invincible War. He was one of the characters that one of the fake marks was fighting.
Yeah.
So Spawn could have easily been. I think he's Image. I know Hellboy's Dark Horse. I'll go on to our next real quick while you look that up. Square Enix announces Final Fantasy VII. It was Image. Okay. Final Fantasy VII Remake and 16 are now on Xbox. I thought these were already on Xbox. That was my note. I didn't realize that.
You,
So
you could have fooled me on that one. Yeah.
all right. Next, we had Double Fine. Oh, it's I really screwed up my note there. It's Keeper.
What did you write?
Yeah, I did not take my note well. You can ask because look, I wrote Keeper really tiny up here.
Yeah.
Double Fine isn't featuring their best quality writing because it was a silent game, and that's the one thing I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Because that was that Lighthouse game.
Yep.
And like their best thing in all their games is their like dialogue. It really is.
Yeah.
And their gameplay, the best gameplay they ever put out was Psychonauts 2. I'm going to be real.
Yeah. Now, I will say that like while their primary, while their number one thing in all of their games like their biggest draw is their writing, is the
Yes.
interest, the interest that just totally locks you into their dialogue. The second strongest thing in all of their games is the aesthetic of their world building.
That's true.
Yeah.
This
so
has that, though.
taking
so.
like both of the Psychonauts games and like Brutal Legend into account. This Lighthouse game looks so visually striking and has
Yes.
such a fascinating aesthetic behind it that even if there is no dialogue in this whole game, I still put like my weight behind. Like I would still put my money down on this.
Okay.
This looks good.
All right. I hope it does. And then finally, the big final game, the one last
Woo.
thing.
The number one fake out of the century so far.
And oh god, this bothers me so much because it's not like I don't have a hate boner for Call of Duty. I just don't play the games anymore. But this is such a wasted one last thing because the point of a one last thing is like, hey, this will boost the sales of the game.
Yeah.
It's a game that you either in a franchise that you like but isn't your top dog and you want to like get people like, hey, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Or it's a new IP that you really want to do strong. And Call of Duty comes out every year.
Yeah, this is a game that needs absolutely no help in sales.
This will not increase the sales of this by any measure.
Yeah, it's like, who on earth is this reaching out to?
I think a former Rare, the guy who made Conker's Bad Fur Day did an interview, and I remember this line from him where he's like, Call of Duty could be advertised on a single shirt and people would still buy it.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
People
yeah.
would find out about it and be like, "Oh, fuck, there's Call of Duty. We should buy it."
Like I don't remember seeing a trailer for the last like couple of Call of Duties, but I've seen it on every Mountain Dew can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, cool, a new Call of Duty."
Yes.
At this point, I don't understand why there's not just like a yearly subscription service to Call of Duty.
There
Yeah.
is now. It's Game Pass.
Well,
Yeah. Well, like why is there not like an Amazon like subscribe and save, like every year I pay $60,
Yeah.
every year I pay $70 and I
Yeah.
get the new Call of Duty, like cuz it comes out like such clockwork that it is a franchise that
I'm getting
very
frustrated
rarely.
just like
Yeah, no.
this game like this gameplay trail.
It still reminds me of I was
What
like,
the fuck is that, right?
It reminds me of The Evil Within because
that's
Xbox
exactly
owns that
what
now.
I thought it was like another Evil Within game.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh shit, they have The Evil Within." And I was like, maybe they changed how Sebastian looks. And you know,
And seeing this back now, I should have
the
remembered,
moment
like,
this
the numbers.
with all the TVs and stuff, I should have been like, "Oh, it's Call of Duty."
Yeah.
And then we're at the fake out, and this just killed my hope, man.
Yeah, the moment that I heard the name Menendez, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, fuck."
Yeah,
Because this is, if you would have trimmed out everything after this point, like this would have been an amazing trailer for any other game.
yes,
Yeah.
But there was no need for it to be cut. Like you could have just showed this splash screen right here of Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and you would have gotten the same kind of response
Yeah.
of
Yes.
like, "Oh shit, new Call of Duty, woo!"
yeah.
It's
But
legitimately frustrating to me.
and they got the hand that feeds you,
Yeah.
the hand that feeds from Trent Reznor in there. So I don't. I like that. That was kind of a
Yeah.
interesting. I see that now that I have the retrospect to try and look back on that, and like now that I've had time to digest that, 100% as well. Getting the hand that feeds you and cutting the BPM in half is 100% an answer to the absolutely ancient Battlefield 1 Seven Nation Army remix. That womp 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 womp.
Yeah.
Like we're not, the hand that feeds is not an arena hit by any means, but I don't know. I just found that interesting that I had time to reflect on that.
They do routinely pick some pretty banger songs.
Yes.
I'll give them that one.
All right, I have just 3 topics we can talk about real quick. We don't have to make this a long discussion because we're getting a little late. So the first one I want to talk about is presence was felt this year. It wasn't in any of the showcases, but it kind of left an impression if you didn't think about it, and that's GTA 6. A lot of games have a release date of 2026.
Yeah.
I guarantee you a lot of that is because originally they all thought GTA 6 was coming out this year.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we'll just all move it to GTA. We'll move it to 2026, get a little more polish. And, then GTA 6 got delayed to May 26th or something?
Something like that.
Something like that. May 29th, I think, actually. And I bet they were like, motherfucker. So
Yep.
I wouldn't have been surprised because usually during this showcase, you like to see a lot of the release dates are like from March to like June.
Yeah.
We got none of that. The closest we got was Resident Evil Requiem, which was like February 28th, I think, or 28th.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the closest anything can get to that because a lot of people don't want to get even close to
GTA 6
because it is a black hole. It's called a black hole game in the industry for a reason. When it releases, people will be like, it's March, like, well, if I wait like 2 more months, I can get GTA 6. I don't need to buy a game.
Yeah.
It's April. Well, I can wait for GTA 6.
It has such a huge market ripple that one of our friends in the group does regular stock trading. And a week before, when the announcement for the trailer of GTA 6 came out, he invested.
Oh, I bet.
And then he rode the wave after the trailer came out. And then he sold about a month afterwards because that's when the dip in interest went back down.
Yeah.
And that was just for the trailer alone.
Yes.
So, like it is insane how much of an impact on the entire industry it has that all three of these showcases.
It's just 2026. There's no
yeah.
dates or months or anything, and the closest, like I said, is February. So I imagine what we're going to get, it's going to be barely any March, barely any April.
Yeah.
Nothing fucking May.
Absolutely nothing within I wouldn't even be surprised if they gave a 2-month buffer before and after.
That's what I think. And I think it's going to be, it's usually called the summer drought because there's not a lot of games coming out in June and July. There usually isn't.
Yeah.
There's usually like 1 or 2, and that's normal.
Well, everything comes out as soon as school lets out.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, I wouldn't be too seriously surprised if, like our releases are at the beginning of February and at the beginning of August.
Yeah.
In 2026.
And the thing is, all those devs are like, we will probably like we'll take the Bloodbath Battle Royale that will be the release of next year, next to the Leviathan that is GTA 6.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I kind of like. I look at this and I'm like, I wonder if one reason why we didn't have as much AAA is a lot of also because of GTA 6, because I bet a lot of them were like, fuck, we don't want to release our game or even announce it until that's out. Fuck it. Because this is, I would say, a bit of a weaker year for the showcases, honestly.
Pull out, give them Fortnite.
Yeah. Okay, my second topic I actually want to talk about is, I have it right here. So during the Xbox Game Showcase, I actually took count of the total number of new games that are coming out, and then the total number of those games that had a Game Pass after the trailer. The total number of new games is 23. How many Game Passes do you think there is?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was 23 because I that is burned into my brain.
It is 15, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually wrote it down. The Game Pass games are Outer Worlds, High on Life 2, Resonance, A Plague Tale. Weirdly, not the Blood of Dawnwalker. I'm surprised by that one, actually. Super Meat Boy 3D, Ninja Gaiden 4, Indiana Jones I didn't count because it was originally on Game Pass. So
right.
Some of the old games have been on Game Pass, some haven't. It kind of equaled out, so I didn't bother with that.
Yeah.
Beast of Reincarnation, Game Pass. Clockwork Revolution, Game Pass. Grounded 2, Game Pass. Chronos, the Bloober Team, not Game Pass, weirdly.
Okay.
Elder Scrolls Online, whatever. Aphelion, Game Pass. There Are No Ghosts at the Grand, Game Pass. Mudang, Two Hearts, no Game Pass. That was the Korea game.
Yeah.
Planet of Lana 2, Game Pass. Solo Leveling, Arise. Weirdly, the multiplayer game. They like to do a lot of Game Passes. This one is not. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Animo, no Game Pass. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, Game Pass. Fate's End, Game Pass. Gears of War Reloaded, Game Pass. Persona 4 Revival, despite how being early, Game Pass. Sea of Thieves. Invisible Versus, again, weirdly, no Game Pass. That was surprising. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because I watched all these to count that. And then we had Keeper, Game Pass, and Call of Duty, Game Pass.
Yeah, during the showcase when we were all watching it as a group, I think we all started mindlessly chant, like we fell into the rhythm and started mindlessly chanting like
Game Pass.
Play it on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah. And part of me wanted to go back to the Outer Worlds 2 specifically. Do you think that the $80 price tag on Outer Worlds 2 is a gambit to push people to go to Game Pass?
I hadn't thought about it from that angle. If I didn't already have Game Pass and I wanted to play Outer Worlds 2 day one, I would 100% go get Game Pass instead to play it.
Yeah.
That is fascinating.
That's the thing that I thought about, especially with this Game Pass, because Xbox did announce, the big thing is they announced earlier this year that they were going to increase the prices of everything, including their consoles.
Yeah.
Which I didn't care about the console stuff. The game thing was where I paid attention because their consoles have not been selling well.
It's been not at all. Yeah. Well, ever since they've started doing more PC, support. Ever since I can speak personally that ever since I can start playing a lot of my Xbox titles on PC. I haven't owned an Xbox in 8 years.
Yeah.
I went back and I play Xbox games on PC now because I have titles in my library that I'm fascinated by the crossplay. But I had not I think this might be a bluff now that you bring it up that way.
That's what I thought it was, because that's one of the things I thought when I saw that $80. Like, they're pushing for Game Pass. They want more people on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because they got a big boost with Call of Duty.
Yeah. Do you want to subscribe and do you want to own nothing for cheap, or the only other option now is to fucking they've taken, if you're going to approach the PC marketplace, what's the worst? What is the biggest hindrance to devs on PC only platforms right now? It's pirated keys.
Yeah.
It's either pirated or secondhand keys where you're getting a bunch of, you can't get a pirated or secondhand key for an Xbox game.
Yes, exactly.
So you change it to a subscription. Fuck, that is scummy now that I think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, subscribe, own nothing. If you want to have the game, if you want the game to be yours, pay $100.
Yes. Okay. I just wanted to bring that up because it was a thing I thought about. And finally, our last little topic, a little lighter, showcase rating and ranking. I didn't really discuss how we would rate these. We could do just a little grade, F to A grading for the ratings, and then ranking them after that. So I guess we'll start with PlayStation State of Play. What is your rating? And
my rating in A.
You didn't watch it?
I didn't watch it all the way through. From the content that I've seen from it, I liked it, but I don't know. I haven't seen more than half of it.
What about you, Holden? I think you watched it.
Yeah, I did. I would give it, I don't know, maybe a C minus, D plus.
Okay.
I wasn't very impressed with it.
I would probably give it a C personally, despite it being for me. Because I look at my list, and it's I have 3 games right at the front, and then I have 2 at the back, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it was, outside of that, it was okay.
Yeah, and I'm not the biggest Japanese game enthusiast, so a lot of that stuff wasn't targeted to my side of the gaming demographic. So, results may vary, but that's where I'm sitting on PlayStation.
Okay. Next, Summer Game Fest. What was yours, Holden?
I would give Summer Game Fest an A, or A high B maybe.
Okay.
There's a lot of good titles that I was excited about on there, and it's late. I was.
You're getting confused with Xbox.
Yeah, I had Xbox in my mind. Cut that one out. Summer Game Fest. I give that one. That one's definitely a low D. I'll give that one a D minus.
I'd probably give it a D as well.
I did not like summer games. Like,
This
it was
is
like annoying to watch for a lot of it.
it's too long. Jeff needs to shorten it to an hour. This is a 2-hour showcase for some fucking reason.
Oh my god.
I don't know why he does it. He should just do an hour. I give it a D as well. This is not the worst Summer Game Fest. The worst one was probably when he announced the final announcement. You think Call of Duty was a cock block? Imagine the Last of Us remake being the big reveal. Everyone's like, "Oh, okay, that's great. That's your final thing to show."
Yeah. You know what?
Thanks.
Now that I'm thinking of summer games again, I'm gonna move PlayStation up to just a C.
Okay. Yeah, PlayStation's just it's kind of weak.
It doesn't deserve
In a lot
to
of
be
ways,
in like
but
close
it's
to
not-
the same category as summer games.
It's not tiring, and a lot of my like talking points, like things we talked about, weren't really like really positive. It was just like this is a thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Like Atomic Heart 2 was okay. I hope this one's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they haven't gotten their last DLC out yet. They need to do that. And finally, the Xbox Game Showcase. I would give this, and I'll say, a B for me.
Yeah.
Xbox has had better
That's fair. Yeah.
in the past. This is still not bad for what they showed. Probably the Call of Duty definitely plays a part in this being lower than an A,
Yeah.
because that is such a
Such
buzzkill
a
right at
rug
the end.
pull,
Yeah.
man.
I, on chance of being a pariah, would give it like a firm A+.
Okay.
Because while not everything that they showed was either for me or good, especially not that big ending, I was fully engaged 100% of the time that it was happening.
That's
as
fair.
as a presentation, ignoring the content of it, it was pretty crazy. It was super fun to watch it with
Yeah.
you guys.
Well, I think the other thing is I've watched these yearly. This is kind of a standard Xbox showcase.
Okay.
This is their like base.
Yeah, I've been out of the loop since like the last E3 that I watched was whenever Fallout 4 came out.
Holy crap!
So
Yeah.
yeah,
my
I've been
God.
out of the ecosystem for a very long time,
Yeah.
and I had a blast with this.
Yeah, Xbox Game Showcase is usually solid. Xbox has a lot of problems. Making a showcase is weirdly not one of them. They have been consistent in quality for years. They've had a lot better in the past. This to me is their middling. What's your rating, Holden?
I give it like an A-,
Okay.
like maybe a B+. But
You don't have to let me do it, because I know that I'm like the only one who watches
no,
all
I'm
of this every year.
I'm definitely not on Ross's side of like giving it like an A+ with flying colors, but definitely like in my opinion, I give it like a high B as somebody who's like I don't watch a ton of game showcases and stuff like that. I think I watch more than Ross does.
For sure.
But yeah, just for me, and maybe it's because it's currently in competition with Summer Games Fest and the PlayStation showcase in my brain. Maybe that's like falsely inflating it a little bit, but that's where I keep it in my head right now.
Thank you guys for coming. This is the Red Riot Robot YouTube channel, and as always, thank you for coming. This is Blue signing out.